Let's get things rolling here in the Michigan Football Report Friday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern. I am your host, James Yoder. We are going to have a good show, I think, today. It's going to be a little different. It's kind of, we're hitting the lull in the news cycle for really the next 2 weeks. I think actually things will pick up May 1st for 2 to 3 weeks on the transfer portal. But as we're now 2 weeks after the Michigan football spring game, there's not a ton going on. Recruiting's cooling a little bit after Jaden Davis' commitment 2 weeks ago as well. So what we're going to do today is talk to you about some updates on big-time injuries they're going to want to know about, talk about a little recruiting, and I'm going to predict every single game this year, the score for Michigan's 2023 schedule. Then we're going to do offensive and defensive depth charts coming out of spring ball. Several changes that might surprise you there. And in between those, we're going to take your questions. So use hashtag Michigan to get on the show. But let's get the show rolling here. It is 2:01 p.m. on the East Coast, 1:01 Central, 10:01 Hawaii. I'm just making that up. It's something like that. Probably 9:01 actually Hawaii time. What is Alaska? An hour away from there. But type Go Blue. If you are a Michigan football fan, if you are watching a casual fan of college football, you just came across us, you don't even care, or if you're an Ohio State fan, please don't comment at all. Michigan fans only, give me a Go Blue. Blue Wolverine getting the party started with a $10 super chat. I'm going to give him one because he's a long-time one, but we need to make sure everyone knows the new rules for this year. Blue Wolverine, next week we're launching our end screen credit. You will be on there from your contributions to the show throughout the 2022 season up until signing day in February, but we upped the ante a little bit. It's now $15. Why? Well, because last week, this has kind of proved the point on 2 weeks ago, 2 Fridays ago. Fill up 2 helmets, right? It took us 2.5 months to fill up 5 helmets. We filled up 2 helmets, $1,500 in super chats on just last week's show. So some shout outs there. Javier Gregson, Matthew Spence, John Blaze had 40% of that. A new big spender to the crew. Back Road Blue was $200+. So John Blaze has 30 stickers. Back Road Blue was 21. Jim Prindle, I say Matthew Spence, Charles Kinnebrew, Javier Gregson, some more Rock City, Robert Davis, Jacksonville Zoe, more John Blaze, more Back Road Blue, Cruiser for Show, G Calendar, Cool Moti, and Jim Prindable, Cody Momfer won some of many of all these stickers, about 80 or so stickers from our Jaden Davis live signing day commitment day show on the 31st. But we do have 2 fresh new helmets that we wanted to fill up. So we're going to give we'll give the first 2 in there, get the party started. We have 2 super chats for 10 Jack. We'll keep them on the old rules, but let's toss up the menu after we go to this from Mike K. Mike, you are going to get on the helmet, but going forward, guys, it's 15 again, the helmet. Had to up the ante. This is a championship year. So Mike K, Blue Wolverine, thank you guys so much for getting this party started with a $10 super chat. I'm going to add you to the helmet right now, both you guys. And then we will show the super chat menu here in a moment. Let me get there. And it was Blue Wolverine. What's that, Jack? Jack is updating the big board, which we will show here in just one moment. So April 14th. April 14th. I got to write Blue Wolverine a new one. I messed up the date. Another $5 super chat coming in hot. Really appreciate that from Mike K. Another one. Mike, you were on there, so I'm changing your 10 to a 15 there, so you qualified even without the drop down in the number. So thank you so much to Mike K. Very much thank you to Blue Wolverine. Blue Wolverine, you are going first there. You're the first super chat. I'm going to get you right at the front of the third helmet of this. This is the calendar year, the 2023 calendar year. And then Mike K., I got myself a sticker for you, my good man, right there. You're going to go right next to him. Second super chat on this new helmet. Whoops, a little stuck there. Let me pull it off and stick it right next to Blue Wolverine. So Mike K, Blue Wolverine, you guys are on the third helmet. Just like we did last year. We shipped these off. 5 contributors to the show got these helmets. We did a bunch of prizes. Blake Corum signed football. We did a bunch of Michigan football T-shirts. We did Michigan football jerseys, etc. And some sponsor giveaways. A Fume, a Manscaped product, and others. So Mike K and Blue Wolverine have got on the board. So let's take a look at the super chat menu. It's on there. Every 50 likes, I've got a cup of half blue drink, half vodka here. So it's the blue Kool-Aid. We're excited for the Michigan football team this year. If you're excited, if you're pumped up like I am, you're drinking the blue Kool-Aid every 50 likes. So hit that like button here on the show. We've only got 9 likes, I think, so far to start the day. Every $5, you get your question on the show. You can ask any question, $5 or more. You'll get that and shout out your name, your photo on the screen. Every $10, we'll do a wheel spin. I'll show you what that is here in a second. We owe 18 wheel spins from our March 31st show. Every 20, Jack's saying, because we've got more today. Every $15 is a helmet sticker. Anyone who contributes to the helmet this entire year will be on our post-2023 season show credit for an entire year, and we will launch the 22 season show credits. Anybody who does $15 or more is kind of listed as a producer. You'll have your name on every single show, at least once a week, but we'll try and incorporate it into most shows here on out. And then if we get to $250 in super chats, we're 1/5 of the way there, 1/6 of the way there, something like that. I will shotgun a full beer right here live on YouTube. Here's the leaderboard as things shake out right now. John Blaze, $490 is our leader so far. Back Road Blue, right behind him, $351. Matthew Spence, Charles Kennebrew, $100 each. Same with Jim Prindle. Javier Gregson with a 50 spot. All those guys, Spence and Kennebrew and Jim Prindle, each have 6 stickers in the helmet. Javier has 3. Mike K has himself a couple stickers, including 1 today. Cody Montford's got 2. Robert Davis 1. And then 6 others had $20 are tied there among quite a few. So take a look at the wheel spin, Jack. I'm going to repeat these, and we're going to go about 5-6 more minutes, guys, until we get the show started. Let the audience build up. We have another, what's that, Jack? Oh, is it? Oh, well, that's pretty brutal. Huh? What do you got to type it in? We should check that out. We should have, yeah, we'll take a look at that here in a moment. Okay, show, I'm going to read what they are, Jack, here. Let me go back to that part of my menu. So what we've got here, the digital wheel. We owe 20 of these now. It is Never Have I Ever. So Jack's got a list of things that he's going to ask me. I got to either say yes or no. 10 push-ups. Yoder's Michigan Memories. I'll just think of a story or some time, just maybe interest to you guys. I'm not sure. I'll make an animal sound. Spin again, which is kind of like skipping one, so hope I get a few of those. Wear the helmet for a minute. Sing Hail to the Victors. And 5 jumping jacks, with jacks being in parentheses, being a little half quotes there. Jack, you can find out what that means in a few minutes, I'm sure. So let's spin one now, Jack. Let's get 2 out of the way right now. Before we get that, $20 from Matt Shook. How about that? He says, Yoder, you're my man crush, Yoder. Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. I don't know. It's kind of flattering to be someone's man crush, but appreciate it. Thank you so much. Matt Shook, you are getting added to the helmet right now, my man crush. SHOOK with a 20 on April 14th. Boom, the 3rd helmet on second live show of this 2023 season. Is off to a good start here, as we are not even 8 minutes. We're 8 minutes into the second live show of the season. So, Matt Shook, you are right there next to Blue Wolverine. Jack, when you get a chance, we'll do a couple wheel spins. Maybe ask somebody to test out the Super Chat thing from mobile, or maybe we should do it just to double check here and make sure that, take a look when you get a chance. See if you can get to the point. You don't have to actually send it, but see if you can edit it or press in and put your own money or something like that. Let's do a couple spins, though, Jack. Let's do 3 spins or so to get things rolling here on the Michigan Football Report. 60 people watching live. We're going to build it up for a second until we get into the core show content. First one up, what is it going to be? It is 5 jumping jacks. Jack didn't know this, but I opted him in. His name's Jack. Jack, come up here and do 5 jumping jacks for us. Come on up here. So I'm going to take it full screen for a second. Jack will do 5 jumping jacks. His name is Jax. I thought it was only proper that he joined in the fun in our Michigan Football Report stupid human trick. So here is Jack Lauderay, a.k.a. Young Harbaugh. Go ahead, Jack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there he is, 5 jumping jacks. Oh, there he goes. Oh, look at this. Young Harbaugh's got khakis, got the hat, got the hoodie. He is wearing the full attire today. So Young Harbaugh with the 5 jumping jacks. Let's do another wheel spin, Jack. We got 19 spins remaining. Go to that wheel spin as we are letting this audience build up. Matt Shook, I like that one. You're my man crush shirt. That's a good one. It's still popping up on my screen here. All right, next wheel spin. If you guys don't know, we owed like 20 or 18 from last show that we couldn't get to, so we're adding them today. What was that? Hey, that's what it was? Oh, no, wear helmet 1 minute, I thought. Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best. Hail to the victors valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Go Blue! Okay, one more, Jack, and then we'll continue rolling on. We are at 2:10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to get in the show, offensive, defensive depth chart, but I owe some debts here. We're paying off debts, so appreciate you guys jumping in. Make me make an idiot of myself as much as possible. What's that one? 5 jumping jacks again. Jack, come on. He's got to come back up. What are the odds, Jack? What are the odds that jumping jack has to do twice? We're going to only owe 17 after this one. So Jack is going to come up here, do 5 more jumping jacks. I'll step off screen, let him do the 5 jumping jacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumping jacks. All right, there he is. Jack Louderay, a.k.a. Young Harbaugh. I'm going to see about the super chat option. You got that too? Let's take a look. You can't adjust it, can you? You can't edit your own number? That stinks. That's interesting. I didn't know you couldn't do that. Maybe we should just change it to 20. I don't know. Yeah, it might be more exclusive. We'll have to figure that out. I did not know it wouldn't let you adjust and just type in your other number. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, cool. If you do a 10 and a 5 super chat, you add a sticker. If you do a 20, we'll figure out. Might have to adjust that for future shows. So thanks for pointing that out to us just a moment ago. That was Mike K sent us that one, so appreciate that. 17 wheel spins remaining. Before we do our next one, shout out your city. Where are you watching from? Let me give a few shout outs here. Jay Penny, I like that name. It's a cool name. Let's see, anybody going to the Ohio State game? To be determined. For me, I've got tickets, but, I like doing the show. After not going to a game in the 2020 season, I don't know. I kind of lost the itch to go to every game like I used to, especially traveling from, a 2-hour flight away. Mark Machkowski, appreciate you. Haven't seen you in the chat yet today. There you are with the Go Blue. Cedar Falls, Iowa from Taylor. K is in Flint, Michigan. Mark, who I just mentioned, is in Chicago, Chi-Town. Oscoda, Michigan from Mitch Kappas. Mike Bork, is from Fenton, Michigan. Phil Hoffman from Grand Rapids, Go Blue. Kevin Barker from Atlanta. K-Money2K GG from Lansing, Michigan. Mike says, come on, make it to the game. I'll do my best here. We'll figure it out. Dayton, Ohio from Phil Newsom. Well, we're going to be at Houston. That's for sure, Mike. We're going to be in Houston. It's Houston or bust, HOB. If you guys can, like today's video. It's only at 23 likes. Liking helps put this video in the YouTube feeds of potentially more audience. So it's a shameless plug for us to ask you guys to help us market the video, especially a live show on a Friday afternoon. People are busy, but if they do go onto YouTube, have a few minutes, we'd like them to see our content if they're a Michigan football fan. So give me a like on the video. All right, 3 more minutes, and then we'll jump into the content. We're going to start with some injury news, talk a little recruiting, just update you guys, and then I'm going to predict the record of every schedule before we jump into a bunch more content. What was your favorite play from the 2022 Michigan football season? I mean, look, I'm not going to even beat around enough to guess here. It was Diamond Edwards, 75 yards, right? Gets past Ransom, Diamond Edwards, touchdown, Michigan, the Don. That was, without question, my favorite one. In under talked about one is in the third quarter, right before the J.J. McCarthy to Colston Loveland touchdown that put Michigan back on top, in the third quarter against Ohio State. J.J. kept the ball on, QB read, QB run to the right side and ducked his head down and crashed into 2 Ohio State defenders and knocked them both down, right? And they were on the ground. He kind of, shook them off and then went out of bounds. I think that to set the tone. That really hurt Ohio State's confidence that J.J. McCarthy, sophomore quarterback, 195 pounds, could take out a linebacker and safety and a cornerback from their team and not even knock McCarthy down to the ground. So let me know what you guys think. 85 yards from the Don, says Mike K. He says Diamond Edwards versus Penn State. That was the breakout. That's a pretty good one for Mark. Let's see any other ones. Edwards is still running out here from Taylor. I like that one. Mark, we're going to talk about the defensive line and what the depth chart looks like coming up here in a few minutes. Defensive depth charts towards the end of the show, so about 45 minutes or so from now. Keep getting your comments here. Your favorite play from the 2022 season. All right, on today's show, we are going to talk the latest news and rumors around this program. I have some interesting updates around general recruiting that just came out in the last half a day. We're going to take your questions, so use hashtag Michigan in the comments. It pops it up to the top of Jack's feed. Jack, before we go to the segment, let's just do one more wheel spin just to kind of knock off some of that debt. We'll take another segment of questions, so if you want, throughout the show, put hashtag Michigan with your question, and it'll go to the Q&A feed, and then we'll do our defensive depth chart, offensive depth chart you see there as well. Let's do 2 more spins, Jack. How many do we go? 16 now? 15, 17? We've done 3 so far? 17. So let's do 2 more to kind of cut the debt down to 15. All right. Let's see. What do we have here? Wear helmet for 1 minute. Okay, so we got to stay. I'll do the original, the John Blaze and the back road blue helmet for sure. So I got this one bad boy on, rocking the helmet for 1 minute. It's kind of tough with this this headset. So nevertheless, helmet is on. One more, Jack. Let's see what we got with this one. Now we can leave them all on because we got a bunch of them. Yeah, cool. All right. Whoop, helmet's falling off. Animal sound. What kind of animal, Jack? Pick an animal. Okay, Jack's gonna do the animal sound.
So it's National Dolphin Day. So I'll do a little. I don't know. Willie Fins.
We should get Willie Fins in here and have him do that right there. Yeah, why don't you grab him really quick? While you're doing there, Jack, do one more, and I'll do the whatever comes out of there. Even if it's the jumping jacks, I'll do one more. So down to 14. All right, Jackson will get our resident dolphin, Willie Fins, to do a dolphin sound for us here in a moment. And sing hail to the victors, hail to the victors, valiant hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best. Hail to the victors, valiant hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Go Blue. Will, you're our resident dolphin. You are a dolphin, so if you want to come up here and give a dolphin sound. No, you're fine. Just come on up. Yeah, we're not. Jack and I aren't good sound guys, so he said dolphin.
I'm not very good at the dolphin, but how about I get a little Willie Fins?
Yeah. All right. There we go.
Willie Fins! Hey, Dolphin Day!
Dolphin Day. You should have gone live and just with like an actual live dolphin for the day. Yeah. We should have rented a dolphin and see if I don't know if we can do. So what? It's not a bad idea. As I pull this off, I gotta mess with this. Okay, Jack. We're down to 14 now, right? Okay. Headset, I took it off so you guys could hear Willie Fins. All right, we are going to get things rolling now. As I mentioned, news and rumors. We're talking some recruiting off the top, some injury news recruiting, general updates on recruiting, and then I'm going to go through every single game and give you my 30 to 60 seconds on every single game as soon as I get my microphone cord back down my back, and there it goes, so it's not annoying me the entire show. We are going to dive in it. 14 wheel spins to go. We got the hard hat rolling. If you guys want to get in the show, use hashtag Michigan or Super Chat. It's the Michigan Football Report. Let's get this show rolling right now. Let's talk some Michigan football injury news. After missing all of winter workouts and, of course, spring practice, timelines have begun to emerge. Got some credible information on both Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum on when they are going to be back to full speed. We know Michigan can't start practicing officially until August, but there are plenty of 7-on-7 and workout drills and, of course, conditioning that happen all spring long after the spring practice and into the summer. The rest of the freshman class hits campus on June 1st, and that's when things really get going towards this 2023 season. The Michigan Football Report is sponsored by RexMD, the #1 leader in men's telehealth. Go to rexmd.com/chat. Have a great offer from RexMD that I'll tell you about here in a few moments. All right, Blake Corum knee rehab. Let's take you through what we know, information that's been updated here in the last couple hours leading up to today's Friday afternoon show. He is targeting a June 1st date to be back to full speed, running the football, cutting. He can run right now. He's probably at 95% of his straightaway speed, but as you saw in the Ohio State game, second half against Illinois, when he tried to give it a go, he had absolutely no lateral movement, and that's, of course, why he got the surgery, set out spring ball. He's ramping up impact training right now, doing a lot of box jumps, etc. You've seen him in the workout weight room, pumping up 225, almost 30 times. But the biggest thing is side-to-side movement, doing that impact training. His expectation is to be back to full speed on June 1st. How about the Donovan Edwards? Been focusing on intense speed training, right? It's not a lower leg injury. It's a hand injury. We saw him with the big cast throughout the end of the season. That cast is coming off. Or he's kind of gone from the small cast to the big cast to the small cast. Should be completely off anything, even just a little slight wrist protector here in the next couple weeks, and will be 100% by mid-May, if not sooner. This one's as close as it can get, but they're going to be cautious because we saw with both these guys, they have the tendency to re-injure themselves. So that's the latest on Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum, what we know on their injuries. We're going to dive into more Michigan football news and rumors throughout today's show, but we're going to start with a little bit of recruiting, and then we're going to talk 2023 schedule by game score predictions. All 12 games in the schedule, and we're even going to talk about the Big Ten championship game as well. So with recruiting, it's been a big-time story over the past month. Jaden Davis committing 2 weeks ago. Just want to refresh everybody what the recruiting class looks like as of now here on April 14th. Jaden Davis, top-rated recruit in the Composite rankings. He is number 28 overall. Jordan Marshall, kind of reminds me a little Donovan Edwards, J.G. McCarthy, Mike Hart, Chad Henne. That top 100 running back, 5-star quarterback combo has proven big time for Michigan football in the past. Jacob Bowden, local kid, Andrew Sprague, and then Hogan Hansen, top 200, one of the top 5-6 tight ends in this class. He's getting recruited by other schools heavily. Miami kind of popped up there in the last couple weeks. Doesn't seem like that's as interesting to him as some had initially thought. Rounding out the class, Mason Curtis, tackling machine, Luke Hamilton, the offensive lineman, Ted Hammond, Ben Roebuck out of St. Ed's in Ohio. A couple of his teammates, high school teammates in that same offensive line, have committed to Ohio State recently. And then you've got a couple defensive players, defensive line, and then Zach Ludwig rounding things out at the linebacker position. Major recruiting change starting July 1st. This is news that's just come out in the last 15 or so hours. Starting July 1st, recruits no longer are limited by 5 official visits per the recruiting cycle to pick which school they have. All right? If you're not familiar, schools, recruits can take whatever they want. They can pay to travel to any school near or far on their own for an unofficial visit. The school cannot contribute financially to that travel or stay or anything like that at all. 5 official visits has been the rule forever. That's changing. Now starting July 1st, so 2.5 months from now, recruits can take as many official visits as they can have. I think it's going to give an advantage to a school like Michigan. They can just basically say to any recruit who's not even considering them, hey, if we're in your top 10, or if we're in your top 15, come take a visit. It is fully paid for. Even if you're from Florida and you're just only considering SEC schools, come check out what Michigan has to offer. Schools with huge recruiting budgets like Michigan, Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, et cetera, et cetera. I think it will help them out. So good thing for Michigan. And that could all get started on July 1st. So it really impacts every recruit out there going forward. If you guys love Michigan football and you want more Michigan football news all offseason until August when we do a show every single day and we'll have a weekly or twice weekly live show, make sure you are subscribed to the Michigan Football Report, youtube.com/Michigan TV. All right, next up, it's going to be my game-by-game score predictions. Every single game that's on the calendar, on the schedule for this Michigan football program in the 2023 season. So join in. Let me know what you guys think on some of my score predictions. But I did want to tell you first about today's sponsor, and that is RexMD. Guys, feeling nervous or not performing at your best in the bedroom can be a confidence killer. But don't worry, RexMD is here to help. As the most trusted leader in men's telehealth, RexMD makes it easy, discreet, and affordable to get generic and branded Viagra or Cialis online. No embarrassing trips to the doctor or insurance copays required. With RexMD, you can talk to a medical professional, create your own personalized plan, and get products shipped straight to your door within 2 days. And they don't just have ED medication. They also have sexual health, hair growth, pain relief, and sleep aid medications. Plus, you can save up to 90% off your ED treatment with RexMD. Don't let ED come between you and your relationships, dates, or encounters. Take advantage of the best deal they've ever offered. Save up to 90% and pay only $2 per dosage with our exclusive link. You got to go to rexmd.com/chat. That's rexmd.com/chat. You see it in the live chat. You see it in the screen. It's down in the comments and the description of today's video. rexmd.com/chat. You get generic and starter packs of Viagra and Cialis now available for our friends here online, our audience. That's rexmd.com/chat. Save up to 90%. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring today's video. Let's take a look at the top 2024 recruiting classes updated as of 6 a.m. this morning. Georgia is the number 1 class still. 10 commits right now. Ohio State has been on a little bit of a run themselves, right? Michigan's been on a run. They popped up at number 2. Ohio State, equally strong run. Still don't have their quarterback yet. I know they do. They got Air, whatever his name is, Air Noland. That's kind of a funny name. Air Noland. That's his name, right? N-O-Land. So they're number 2 recruiting class now, slightly above Michigan. The Wolverines State, number 3. Then it's LSU, Notre Dame, Oregon, Tennessee, Penn State, Florida State, and I don't know where. From the top rope, it's Pitt at the number 10 recruiting class in the 2024 composite rankings. And of course, it's still early, still 8 months till signing day. Let me ask you guys this question before we jump into the schedule. Home and home games are scheduled for 2024, so next year, 2024, it's going to be in Ann Arbor now. It was supposed to be in Texas originally. They flip-flopped them. It goes, I think, Texas, Oklahoma, if I recall correctly, or some combination of that. I'll have to look it up. Should Michigan know? It's actually Texas, Oklahoma, Texas. That's really weird how it shakes out. Should Michigan keep those games with the expansion of the playoff and USC and UCLA joining the Big Ten? Keep or cancel? Let me know what you guys think. Live chat, I see Mitch with a quick K for keep. Let me know what you guys think. Keep or cancel? I'm not sure if they have any option to cancel at least that first game with Texas, because that was part of the negotiations with Texas, Oklahoma going to the SEC a year early. Fox really pushed for that game to be on their networks. That's why it's going to be in Michigan Stadium. But let me know what you guys think. Keep or cancel this 4-year series starting 1 year from this September. All right, Michigan football score predictions. It's early. I don't know everything about every single team yet. I don't know how their springs are shaking out. A lot of these schools that Michigan's going to face are still in spring practice. But this is my best guess based on what they did last year, what Michigan did against a lot of them last year, what Michigan's got coming back, and what those schools have coming back. So I'm guessing I'll be wrong, and probably way wrong on quite a few of these. But this is my best guess as we're still just about 5 months out from the season getting started. Before we do, though, let me know what your score prediction is for Michigan, Ohio State. No one would have been able to predict the scores the last 2 years. It's just not possible that Michigan, any fan with a head on the shoulders could have said Michigan's going to go in and drop 45 points to Ohio State's 23 in Columbus. Okay, no one would have said number 2 Ohio State was going to come into the Big House and Michigan was going to beat them 42-27 a year ago after an 8-game losing streak. But let me know what you guys think. Predict your score, Michigan, Ohio State in November. Hit in the live chat or hit it down in the comments. Take a look at the schedule here. I'll just run through the month of September, then I'll give you my score prediction for each. East Carolina 8-5 last year, UNLV 5-7, Bowling Green 6-7. They made a bowl game at 6-6, lost that game. Rutgers 4-8, Nebraska 4-8 as well. They have a new head coach in Matt Rule. My score predictions, and some of these I'm just going to blow through because you guys know why. Others I'll spend a little bit of time on. ECU, 8-5 last year. I kept a couple teams close here, but I do think it's probably a game that is closer in the first half than we like. Then Michigan pulls away in the second half. I've got the Wolverines winning 45-14. UNLV, absolutely a disaster as a program right now. They went 5-7. They got lucky to win 5 games, I believe. I got Michigan win this one 63-0. Absolute blowout, much like the Hawaii and the UConn games of last season. Bowling Green, how about the score? 70-7. I've got Michigan blowing Bowling Green out. So 45-14, 63-0, 70-7 is my score prediction for the 3 out-of-conference games. Then you got Rutgers coming to the Big House. Michigan has absolutely destroyed Rutgers under Jim Harbaugh, except for, I guess, they struggled a little bit in 2021 and they had to come back in 2020. But look at prior to 2020, right, 78-0, etc. Last year, Michigan won, Scott dropped 50 on them in Piscataway. So I've got this one, Michigan 52-10. Then Nebraska. Michigan's got to go on the road to Nebraska. That's never an easy place to play. New head coach trying to get a big early season September upset of what will be probably a top 2 ranked Michigan team. I still have the Wolverines win this one 42-17. Take a look at our Super Chat leaderboard. If you guys haven't watched our live shows, anyone who Super Chats gets added to this, we'll continue to show love to the top 10. If it expands, Jack, we might have to start to the top 20. You never know, because we're off to a hot start. John Blaze, Back Road Blue are our biggest contributors to the show. Matthew Spence, Charles Kennebrew, Jim Prinderbull at the $100 and up. Javier Gregson, Mike K, who I know is watching right now. Cody Mountford with $30. Robert Davis, 20, and then 7 others tied at $20. Our Super Chat leaderboard, 2 shows, 2 live shows into the 2023 season. Take a look at the month of October. A little sparse, right? Because you don't get a game until the 7th, 14th, 21st. Then you've got a bye. So only 4 Saturdays in the month, has 5 in September. And then Michigan has their bye in the month of October. At Minnesota, I think this could be Michigan's second or third toughest game of the year. I've got Michigan winning a close one against a good Wisconsin or Minnesota team that went 9-4 last year. I've got Michigan win this one 31-24. Jim Harbaugh has had a couple close calls there on the road against Minnesota throughout his coaching and really even playing career. So I've got that one, Michigan 31-24. Next week, home against Indiana. Michigan whacks the floor with Indiana. Harbaugh certainly wants some more revenge from that 2020 loss, breaking their 33-year winning streak against the Hoosiers. I've got Michigan win that one 66-10. That's at Michigan State the following week. Give me Michigan 41-20. Harbaugh's done pretty good on the road at East Lansing outside of the debacle of the last 22 minutes against the Spartans when Michigan blew a 16-point lead in 2021. I've got Michigan winning that one 41-20, but that could be one as things kind of inched more towards the season, get a little more read on Michigan State. That could be a closer score than originally predicted. But let me know what you guys think on this one. Michigan State. Third Saturday in October this year. Give me a score prediction for what you think that score will be, and of course put an M or an MSU next to it. Let me know who you guys think are going to be the winner. See my guy Josh Sherwood in the live chat. Let's go Blue Bosa. Appreciate all you guys. For everyone watching live, light up the comments with these questions here. Michigan State, predict the score. Mine 41-20 Michigan. I want to know what you guys think in the live chat and of course down in the comments. Things get a little heavier in the month of November. You've got two road games back-to-back, and you've got maybe 3 of Michigan's top 5 or so toughest games of the season. Purdue, the Big Ten West champs last year, they're going to come to the Big House. Then you got to go at Penn State. This is the Penn State team that's going to be ranked in the top 6 or 7, maybe even the top 5 to start the season. At Maryland, and we're going to talk about that one in a second. Jack said, that's a crazy score prediction for you right there, but you'll see why here in a few moments. And then it's Ohio State, followed by the Big Ten championship game. Let's run through my scores here. I've got this one shaking out kind of like the Big Ten championship game was. Michigan might be close with Purdue early. Their power, their strength along the offensive defensive line will wear Purdue out in the second half. Probably be a one-score game at halftime. And then I've got Michigan pulling away, winning this one 38-17 at home against Purdue. Next week at Penn State. I'm not going to give a score prediction yet because I don't know what we have out of Drew Aller, who was the top 1 or 2, sometimes people 3, 5-star quarterback in the 2022 class. He's going into his second year in the program. The 7 or 8 years of Sean Clifford is finally over, and Drew Aller is going to go in there and pair with 2 guys who were freshman star running backs last year, the top 2 running backs, skill position players that were underclassmen last year that now have another year of maturity, and a solid defense for Penn State. Guys, if James Franklin is any sort of coach, if he has any coaching talent, which he clearly has, he's won a Big Ten, he's beat Michigan a few times, he's beat Ohio State once as coach, he's kept Ohio State close a bunch, he clearly has talent. He's won a couple big bowl games there in his, 8 or so seasons, 9 seasons at Penn State. If he can't have a back-to-back run this coming 2 years, I'm not saying that he has to make a college football playoff and win the Big Ten, but I'm talking about 11 and 12 win seasons, kind of like Michigan just did the last 2 and going to a third year. If he can't take what they did last year, 11 and 2 last year, won a big-time bowl game, only 2 losses were to Michigan and to Ohio State. If he can't continue that going for the next 2 seasons, I'm kind of questioning his coaching ability because they have sophomores, freshmen, juniors. They are a young team, young quarterback, talented team. The only 2 teams on their schedule they should have a problem with is Michigan and Ohio State again. So I'm looking to see Penn State. They could have a big-time season. I'm putting that one as this for the score prediction. I'm not going to make a prediction until I really know what Penn State has. I might make my final prediction until we get towards the end of August. But let me know what you guys think on that one. Do you think Michigan can go into Happy Valley and beat Penn State? Remember back to 2021, they need Cade McNamara dragging past Eric Gall, who broke a tackle and went all the way 40 yards to the house to win that game with 2 or so minutes left in the ball game. Next week, they go on the road to Maryland. I've got Michigan win this one 84-0 against a Maryland team that went 8-5 last year. Almost beat Ohio State, dropped 50 or so on Ohio State in the final game of the year before Ohio State, Michigan. Now, why is that? Why is 84-0? Well, I don't know if you guys knew this, and we didn't talk about it a ton, but guess who Maryland's new offensive coordinator is? One Josh Gaddis, right? absolute disaster at Miami, to the levels that you can't even comprehend how bad their offense was last year. Just go look at Miami's team last year. Look at the yards. Look at the third down conversions. Look at the stats. Look at the scores they put up. Look how many quarters they went scoreless last year. I think he's going to turn a Maryland team that's got a ton of skill position players. Their wide receiver group is amazing. They've got a quarterback that's to his brother. He's coming back. I'm pretty sure what I saw. Yeah, he's coming back. They should be a hell of a talented offense, but they got Josh Gattis. He's able to take an awesome offense and turn them into dog shit in just like that. Michigan's going to win this one. Revenge game. Harbaugh's going to take it out. Going to pour one out for Xavier Worthy's mom. Beat Maryland, Josh Gattis, and Mike Loxley 84-0 on the road in Maryland. All right. How about the Ohio State game? Next week, I think it's going to be more of the same. I think Ohio State has as much talent, if not more. They've got more high-end talent than Michigan. They've got questions at quarterback, but they've got 2 5-star quarterbacks on the roster in Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. Unproven, but every quarterback that's played for Ryan Day has eventually turned into a star within a matter of games. I still think Michigan's got the mental edge in Ohio State. The fact that it's going to be in Michigan, this should be, just like 2021, one of the most ruckus environments we will see in a college football stadium, this entire year, right? It'll be up there, and if these two teams are, 11-0, 10-1 both again, like they've been the last 2 years, just I can't even comprehend how electric that environment's going to be. I think Michigan bumps it up a little on offense. Ohio State steps up their game too. They only scored 23. Total losers, have no offense, whatever. 48-28 is my score prediction. Ohio State, Michigan. Then it's the Big Ten championship game. Wouldn't it be something if it was Michigan versus Iowa? Cade McNamara, Eric all in that game. Whoever it is, I'm just going to guess, right? Wisconsin, Iowa, Purdue. Michigan's going to win that one, just like the last 2 years. They're going to have no problem, especially when you get in the second half. They jumped on Iowa early. They jumped on Purdue late. Anyway, either way, it was 3-4 score victory. 41-14 is my Big Ten championship prediction. So my record for this season, I went all the way to the Big Ten championship game. I'm not going to ask you guys to. We got Shane Johnson with the Super Chat. Shane, we'll get to you in a moment. Appreciate that. 12 wins. 1 toss-up is my prediction. I'll make a final score prediction before the season starts, probably in August, but I got to know what we're getting out of Drew Aller, what we're getting out of the Penn State defense in 2023. But I ask you guys, don't count the Big Ten championship game. Just give me a record for the 12 games on the schedule. Let me know what you guys are thinking. 12 games that are currently on the schedule, not the Big Ten championship game. What will Michigan's 2023 regular season record be? Could they go 12-0 for a second straight season? That hasn't happened probably, since the 40s, 30s? I'll have to go back and look. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Michigan's 12-game regular season record. All right, I'll get some shout-outs on those. Had a $10 super chat coming in from Shane Johnson. We'll get to that in 1 second. Josh Sherwood, my guy, my man, says 12-0 is his prediction. Nate the Great says 12-0 floor. It's getting a little warm in here, Jack. I'm going to flex the guns. Rex MD didn't give me these guns, but they can make they can make other things bigger, if you know what I'm saying. That's Rex MD, presenting sponsor of that last segment. Ceiling, 12-0, floor, 10-2 from Nate the Great. I think it's what it is. Look, I think that Penn State game is one to be concerned with, right? It's very rare, any team. Just look at college football. Look at the college football history. How many teams have gone back-to-back undefeated regular seasons in the last 20 years? Not very many, right? Not very many at all. Probably less than 5, right? A couple Alabama teams, 2011, 12, etc. Georgia, even the last 2 years, they didn't go undefeated in back-to-back seasons. So let me know what you guys think, Michigan's record. Let's get these super chats here. We're going to do this, Jack. Because of the $10 thing, we'll keep $10 as the number for today, and then we'll probably just bump it to 20 going forward, right? I think that's probably the play since it's there. So we'll change it too. If you want to change it on the super menu, it doesn't matter if we do. But Shane Johnson coming in. We're going to get you on the helmet, Shane. $10 super chat. What's that? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Let me get these 2 supers on there. I'm going to get the sticker for you guys. But let me read Shane's message here. 52-17 on 11-25 for Michigan. So he's got Michigan beating Ohio State 52-17. Michigan will lead the nation in scoring and number 1 in total defense. His favorite play in 2022 was J.J. McCarthy plowing over Ohio State and flexing into the end zone to put Michigan up 31-20. I believe that was the score of that one. Post the pic from Yoder from your Twitter. See y'all in Houston. Let's fucking go blue. Shane, appreciate that. I'm going to get you on that $10. I don't have the photo. I think maybe you talk about the photo of you at one of the games, Shane, but I don't have that handy, but maybe we'll get that in the next show. Shane Johnson, I'm going to get him as a sticker. Shane, you are also going to be on the the end screen credit, the producer's credit of this show coming up starting next week. So let me get you this sticker, 414 from Shane Johnson. All right, and then who do we got here, Jack? We've got somebody else. Guys, we're going to take your questions, so start using KMoney2KGG. That's a tough one to write, but I'll figure it out. KMoney2KGG 414. And that was a tenner. All right, got a couple stickers that come through. 12-0, go blue from JJ Flexing the end zone. Got it. Okay, I got it. I will get that one on there. Let me get you your helmet sticker, Shane. You're going to go right on the front brim. And then KK Money 2KGG. You are going to go on the opposite side of Shane. So we got 5 stickers across this third helmet. Right there it is. KK. There you are, Shane. KK, boom, got you guys going. We are the Hard Hat Team. This is a workman's group. We're a blue collar group, and as a blue collar audience, we're working hard. You guys are helping keep the lights on here, paying for Jack's movie tickets. We went and saw Air a couple weeks ago, all those sorts of things. So really appreciate it. Every dollar we spend allows us to have more production help, more studio time, and put out more content and maybe better content. As you guys have seen over the years, graphics get better. We were able to do longer shows, etc. So really appreciate everyone who can contribute with a super chat. Go to the menu really quick here, Jack. Every 50 likes, which we got to get there, guys. We're at 38 likes. Can we just get to 50 really quick? And I will take a chug of this, which is probably getting a little room temperature. Half vodka, half blue, dark blue Gatorade, and it's called the Blue Kool-Aid. I'm drinking the Blue Kool-Aid. I'll take a little sip. Every $5, you get on the show, and you get a shout-out. I answer your question. $10 the wheel spin, and a sticker helmet. We're going to kind of keep it at 10, but because of someone pointed out you can't do a 15 on mobile, we're going to bump the sticker. It's going to be a $20 sticker going forward. From there, we'll keep $10 as something else that people will be excited for. So every $10 is a double. We'll get a wheel spin and a sticker on the helmet. And then if we get to $250 in super chats, which where are we at right now, Jack? Probably about 80, 100, 65. So you got ways to go for that one. If we get to $250, I will shotgun a beer right here on the show. I'll ask you guys this question before we dive into our next segment. How would you grade this show, both live and on demand? It is Customer Service Month here at Chat Sports. We're trying to put things into action to make sure we're putting out the best product for you all off season, but really have a plan of action going into the 2023 season for this show, for all of our other shows that cover college football and NFL. So let me know what you guys think. I've got a C from Steve-O, baby. Steve, let me know what we can do to improve. If you'd like to see different segments, a different host, different show times, different topics, we will do our best to get that C up to a B and then hopefully up to an A. So let me know what you guys think. And then like the video, Jack. We put a call up there to ask people to like the video so we can get to 50 so I can take a chug of the Blue Kool-Aid. If you guys could, we're at 41 likes with 94 people watching. So, we're not even 50% of the folks watching who have liked the video. It's going to put the show in the feeds of more Michigan football fans. And we're going to be live for, at least another hour here. So give me a like on this video. We're at 41, 42, 43 likes now. Keep hitting that like button so we can get to 50 as soon as possible. Let's dive into it. As soon as we get to 50 likes, we'll continue with the show. I'm boycotting. We're at 56, 46. I'm sitting in silence so we hit 50. All right, 51 likes. All right, thank you. Sometimes you just got to do it. It's just like when you sit in, you chain yourself to a building or something like that to protest. I was protesting right now to get those likes in. So we're going to get into this question. Still have a loaded show here. We are 1 of 5 segments away through the show. So we'll probably be here until at least 4:15 or so on the East Coast. So use hashtag Michigan, guys. Reminder, hashtag Michigan. I like that, Mark. Mark Yoder built to some 200 subscribers. We launched this channel as just like a highlight channel, putting up Shea Patterson highlights. And end of fall of 2018, we started doing some content on in 2019. Then really pandemic 2020 season, we went all in on YouTube as our platform. Prior to that, we were doing a ton of Facebook Lives, and over the last 3.5 years, it has really grown. So appreciate everyone who's been along with us through the ride, like Mark has. Really appreciate you guys. I see some A's. Eric Ehrlich with a C as well. Josh Sherwood, thank you, one of the long times. Mark as well. Richard, give me an A. Appreciate that. Hey, Steve, I like your question. If you could use hashtag, if you could just put that same question in, Steve O'Baby, just add a hashtag Michigan to it. We'll put that in the top of the show, right, Jack? I'd love to see that one on the top of the show, but if not, it takes Jack a few more minutes. It's not as easy to toss to our queue unless you use that hashtag Michigan. So we'll get that on there. I would love to see a debate between Ohio State shows. Ehrlich, good feedback. We've got a few. Zach Smith. We've got the Scarlet and Great Boys. We've got Buckeye Scoop that we communicate with here and there. We'll have one of those guys on a little more often. We had Zach on once or twice last year. So use hashtag Michigan. Let's dive in to the next portion of the show. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. Going to take your questions. So use hashtag Michigan. Let's get it rolling with our audience mailbag right now. I'm your host, James Yoder, the Michigan Football Mailbag, taking questions live from you, the YouTube live audience on a Friday afternoon. We're going to put this out on Saturday, so if you didn't get the chance to join us on a Friday, this is part of that show. So we're going to put all the content from the live on the channel as on demand over the next few days. All right, guys, if you have yet to do so, I want to still plug our Instagram account. I've been going a little ham on Instagram the last couple of days. We put up like 5 or 6 new piece of content, and I got a new tool. Now we're gonna start flooding your Instagram feed with segments from the show, stuff like that. But also we're gonna do things like just put up Michigan football highlights and make sure it's super enjoyable, make it a happy experience for you all off season long. So if you can, go follow us at Michigan Football Report. Let's toss that in the live chat too if we get a chance here, Jack. And then I'm gonna have it up right on my phone. The next 10 people who follow the account will give you a follow back, and we'll keep going. We launched it 3-4 weeks ago, sitting there at about 240 followers right now. So follow me, and we'll give you guys a shout out we'll give you guys a follow back here momentarily. I think did I put a link to it anywhere in the oh, there we go. It's actually right there, Jack, where my mouse is. I got it. So guys, I'm gonna put the link to the Instagram account in. It is in the live chat there. So if you want to click on that, follow us on Instagram. We'd certainly appreciate it. All right, let's dive into it. The first question from Steve, Go Blue. Let's take this question from Steve. He's saying, alternate universe, Harbaugh hires Ryan Day as OC, offensive coordinator, from the 49ers in 2017. So if my math's correct, that would mean that Urban Meyer didn't hire him there, right? 2017 offseason going into the 2017 season. Ryan Day was the quarterback's coach for the 49ers, Chip Kelly, in 2016. Michigan's offense is blank the last 5 to 6 seasons. Interesting question. Let me think about it for a second. Toss this one up on the screen. Jack, we'll ask you guys to participate for a moment. Who's your all-time favorite Michigan football player? It's an easy one for me. It's Charles Woodson. But I think after this season, if Michigan can live up to expectations, I think that is making the national title game and then being competitive in it. If they win it, then it's all over. It's going to be either J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, or Donovan Edwards, whichever one emerges to be the true superstar of this team. But right now it's still Charles Woodson. Braylon Edwards is probably second place for me. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Love to see who you guys think your all-time favorite Michigan football player is. Back to the question from Steve. Okay. So Michigan hires Ryan Day instead of Drevno, and then he had the co-offensive coordinator. Gaddis came in 2 years later in 2019. I don't know. I think what he's trying to say here is, if I'm reading between the lines on this question from Steve, because it's kind of perplexed my brain, is if Michigan and Jim Harbaugh would have hired a real coach. Clearly, Josh Gaddis was not a real coach to run an up-tempo offense like they did in 2019, turned out to be a failed experiment. If they hired a real coach, clearly Ryan Day has developed quarterbacks. He's turned his offense around Ohio State into his own thing. He's their head coach now. Has led them to the playoffs 3 times. Would Michigan be running that style of offense? I don't know. I bet it wouldn't have worked. I would say Day would have probably hung out for 2 years. Michigan would probably pass the ball a little more, probably develop quarterbacks better. But the Wolverines didn't have the quarterback talent on the roster right then. And I don't know if you're going to turn Brandon Peters into Dwayne Haskins or anything like that. So I would say that Day wouldn't have worked out with Harbaugh. He'd have been gone to another job back to the NFL within a season or 2. And Michigan would probably ultimately reflect something like they have right now. And it's just what I had. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, I don't think. And I don't think Jim Harbaugh has the mental interest, I guess, or fortitude to run that high-tempo, high-flying passing style offense. Let me know if you guys have subscribed to the YouTube channel. I'm going to give some shout-outs to anyone who has subscribed in the live chat, and I'll show some love in the comments if you're watching this Saturday on demand. Let me know if you subscribe to the YouTube channel yet. Give me a Y or an N. Jack, if you get a chance, toss it as a live poll for it. Let's see what percentage of the audience has subscribed. If not, now is the time to do it. YouTube.com/MichiganTV. Question from Steve O. Baby that came in the live chat a few moments ago. I like this question. I like this question a whole lot. He says, where is the question at? It was, it's right on my screen. What do you think should happen to Jim Harbaugh if he doesn't win a national championship and he's 1-6 in bowl games? So if Michigan goes into the CFP semis again this year, you got to give Harbaugh a lot of credit from where they were in 2020, 2-4, looked like a program that was just in complete disarray. Changed things around. I think he kind of declared bankruptcy in some way on what he thought about how he's running the program. He said, "We're going to run it my way or die trying." I don't know. I don't know the answer. Let's come back to this one in a second, Jack. We got to get this Fume Read sponsor read out of the way. I'll give the short answer, then we'll come back to it. I think Harbaugh's got to win a semifinal game. Nothing's going to happen to him if he doesn't. He's still going to be the best coach that would be willing to coach Michigan football. But I think people will start being a little more down on him nationally if he loses in the semifinals 3 straight years. And there'll be kind of that mantra, Harbaugh can't win the big one. The Michigan Football Report is sponsored by Fume. Are you tired of struggling with bad habits? Cold turkey, it might be great for sandwiches, but there's no better way to break free of those pesky habits, and it doesn't involve weird mind voodoo and bizarre tactics. Introducing our sponsor, Fume, an innovative award-winning device that helps you kick bad habits to the curb by focusing on the good parts. Scan the QR code on screen to learn more. Fume is all about embracing the natural. It's not electronic, and instead vapor. Fume uses flavored air. Best of all, it's free of harmful chemicals and it's packed with delicious, all-natural flavors. The adjustable airflow dial and movable parts and magnets make it perfect for fidgeting, which can help alleviate stress and anxiety while you break your habit. I wasn't sure what to expect from Fume at first, but I was pleasantly surprised by the taste, feel, and look of my Fume. Breaking a bad habit can be tough. With Fume, it's easy, enjoyable, and even fun. With over 100,000 customers and countless success stories, there's no reason that you can't be next. Start your journey towards a healthier lifestyle. You see the flavors there on screen with me. It's tryfume.com/chatsports. Use the promo code chatsports or scan that QR code on your screen if you're watching from your computer or from a TV. Just scan it right there. You'll pop to it. This is my Fume right here. It has not any sort of bad products. It just kind of, you can twist it, makes a cool sound, and then turn it, take a little puff, and you got whatever flavor you have in there. I've got one of the flavors in. I've been rotating them, so I'm not sure which one's in there right now, but they're all awesome. Tryfume.com/chatsports. Use code chatsports for 10% off your order when you get the Journey Pack today. Steve-O, baby, more on this question is Harbaugh's got to win. It doesn't have to be an undefeated season again. I think Michigan can lose one game, whether it's to Ohio State or Penn State or another game, still make the college football playoff. Okay, just like Ohio State did last year. But they came into those 2 CFP games, I think, in 2021. We're just glad to be here. We'll see what happens. It's an SEC team. Last year, they overlooked, right? Never will Michigan again, I believe, get such a easy path to the national championship game, right? Because this year, you're not going to get a TCU team that you're more talented at almost every position. You're not going to get that again. And you probably are never going to get that again because after this year, it's 12-team playoffs. You're going to have to win at least 3 games, if not 4, to win a national title. So Michigan blew an opportunity this year. They need to come in hyper-focused on winning that semifinal game. If not, Harbaugh can't win the big one. It's just going to be the mantra. And Michigan will be 1-7 in bowl games. If they win that one, if you go to the national title, get a second win in the semis, I think whatever happens in the title game is what happens. Sloppy T Go Blue. What kind of name is that? Can you bring back the campaign to get Michigan and Ohio State to both wear home uniforms for the game? Hashtag Michigan. Hashtag Bo. So, Jack, we saw this question early. You told me we were prepared with my prior statements on this portion of the show. Here's what I say. Folks, Michigan and Ohio State should be wearing all homes or color rush uniforms. What are the color rushes? I think for Michigan, it's clearly the all blues, the best chance they've got as a true color rush. Ohio State would be the all scarlets, all reds. Here's a little example we tossed together. We put this in the show last year before the Ohio State-Michigan game. Wouldn't this be great, no matter where the game was, at home or away? And here's why it's even more great, okay? Something's going to happen next year that I don't think you're prepared for. I don't think I'm prepared for it. I don't think most people realize it. The Big Ten's going to do away with divisions. Michigan and Ohio State are not going to be in one division playing to go to the Big Ten championship game. There will likely be multiple years, many years, maybe the first year, maybe 2024, where Michigan and Ohio State are going to play on a Saturday. Whoever wins, they're going to have to play the same team, the same game the next Saturday. So maybe take some of the advantage out of it for whoever has the home game that year, knowing that it really doesn't matter. We're going to have to play again next week. Either way, if they both make the Big Ten title game, they're probably both in the playoffs. So it's not sure it matters. So take the home field advantage of it in some way, make it a little bit cooler, and maybe it's just like, all right, they don't do it for home games. Maybe they do this if they appear in the Big Ten championship game together. They don't kind of repeat the uniforms they just had. Boom, you switch it up. You go to the all blues, all home uniforms, or these color rush kind of combos from here. I am totally for it, but I'm not the only person that has opinions on Michigan football. Let me know what you guys think. Should Michigan and Ohio State both wear either home uniforms, Michigan clearly the blue tops, the maize pants, or in Ohio State there, scarlet and gray, or should they wear the one color, all blue, all scarlet? Color rush jerseys, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. I am totally in the yes bucket, but want to know from you guys. Randy Rickman, how's the kicking game looking? I wish we really had a good insight into it. It's the one position that not a ton of inside info came out during spring ball. And Tommy Doman, what do we know we're getting from him? Michigan hasn't had to use him. The only thing I would say that leaves me feeling good about the kicking and punting situation is, well, one, they've known this for a couple of years, that Jake Moody, of course, and others would not be back for the 2023 season. So Michigan could have recruited. Michigan could also went heavy in the transfer portal to get another kicker. They chose not to. So it will lead me to believe they at least think they've got a viable option at both kicker and punter. So I'm going to go decent. But I hope that this is not a year that Michigan has to rely on a game-winning field goal like they did against Illinois to win a game. So that's just my hope for this team. Richard Snow says, when are the next big recruiting targets decision timing? Okay. No one that's going to choose Michigan is coming up, imminently. So if anything happens this month, right, there's been chatter of, Michigan's going to another commit here, get another commit there. There's a couple players in the state of Ohio, a couple top 150 players that are on the cusp, might end up being Michigan Wolverines. But nobody that I know is coming up in the absolute near future on a recruiting decision. But I think we proved something out a couple weeks ago, Jack, is I think any recruiting decision of a top 250, 300 player that is a Michigan lean, that we think it's 50% are likely to go, I would do live shows going forward for every single recruiting commitment. So that'll be our announcement to you guys. If there is a commit, someone committed, and we think he's at least 50-50 to Michigan, we'll do live shows going forward here on the Michigan Football Report. All right, we love to toss you guys questions, just hypotheticals, things that we're thinking about. I'm going to take a quick fume right here. I'm fuming. But let me know what you guys think. Need a score to win. J.J. McCarthy, Denard Robinson. J.J. McCarthy, Denard Robinson, which of these two quarterbacks would you choose to lead a drive? 2 minutes left. You need a touchdown to win it. Denard, for all his faults, and sometimes those passing faults, he was one of the better quarterbacks Michigan's ever had. You're down. He just tucks the ball to his right arm, gets the first down here, and then makes the right pass. See the Notre Dame game in 2011. But McCarthy certainly proved he can do the same this past year. I'm still going to go Denard. But the first time Michigan needs one this year and JJ does it, he kind of jumps ahead for me. I'm giving it a DR until JJ has one more game-winning drive. SWWF coming in with the question, Gaddis was a bigger bust than Patterson. You must mean Gary Patterson at TCU. Total bust, I agree. Certainly don't mean Shea Patterson, who, if not for him coming up to the Michigan, transferring to Michigan before 2018, remember what Michigan looked like in 2017. That was an offense that could not do anything, and the quarterback situation was as dire as possible. Shea Patterson did not turn out to be a five-star NFL-level quarterback, but he won 10 straight games, got Michigan into the top 4 before going to Ohio State. Really, his legacy is hurt by the fact that the defense gave up 62 points and 56 points in back-to-back games. Clearly, Shea didn't do enough to win those games either, but I don't think he's as bad as sometimes people want to compare him to John O'Corn or to quarterbacks like that. Shea was a very good quarterback for Michigan, although not championship level. Jay coming with the question, Harbaugh's beaten Ohio State 2 years in a row and won the Big Ten. Of course, he can win the big one. He'll win a playoff game and hopefully a natty this season. Fair. He's won the big one against Ohio State. So monkey off back, right? Harbaugh's had quite a few monkeys he's had to get off his back. Clearly, winning a Big Ten championship, Ohio State, those were two that hit it. But think about back to 2021, the early part of 2021. One of the monkeys that Harbaugh got off his back, Nebraska, Wisconsin. Those teams in 2021 didn't turn out to be very good, either one of them. But a lot of people thought Michigan would lose both those games, right? Going to rowdy Wisconsin in the 4th or 5th game of the season, and then following that up the next week, going on the road to Nebraska in a night game and had to come back and win that game, right? That game was, Michigan was going to lose it. They got a turnover, right? I think it was Michael Barrett that got the turnover on the fumble, and then Michigan got in there, got the score. I think it was a field goal to win the game. He got the road monkey off his back. Then another one going on the road and beating Penn State in a comeback, right? Comeback win, and kind of culminated with beating Ohio State at the Big House. One more this year, undefeated season, then be able to beat Ohio State on the road. The next one he got to get off his back to truly win the big one. National championship, but prior to that, going to win a top 5 team out of conference that's in the college football playoff this year, win that semifinal game. You do that, there's very little that people can knock Harbaugh for. But if you lose in the CFP semis again, I don't know, can't win the big one. Let me know what you guys think. Will Michigan be ranked in the top 2 in the preseason polls? I think they should be, right? Pretty much the consensus out there for all the preseason polls, from ours to CBS Sports, to ESPN, to Bleacher Report, to Athletic, has Michigan at worst number 3. I've seen Ohio State up there as number 2. I've seen Alabama up there as number 2. It's really those 4 schools with Georgia, those 3 schools with Georgia being number 1 in pretty much everyone's preseason poll. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's a for sure yes, right? I see no reason outside of a massive injury in the offseason, and still probably have to be to J.J. McCarthy. So knock on wood that doesn't happen. Jack, knock on wood. No injuries from J.J. But anybody else, right? Let's say it was an injury to Blake Corum. Well, we saw Michigan could still win without him. Same for anybody else in the defense. So I think it's pretty cool to look back. Michigan beat Ohio State at Ohio State by 3 scores without their best defensive player, Mike Morris, arguably their best defensive player, and, of course, their Heisman Trophy, at some point favorite in Blake Corum. Am I tripping on my shoelaces again? I got to stop wearing the shoes, Jack. I wear these on clouds for live shows because, they're good when you stand up for 3 hours, but they always seem to come untied. I don't know why. Let me know yes or no. Luis Pap says yes. Lafayette says yes. You're right. Ringo says it was Hawkins. You're right. It was not. It was Brad Hawkins that got the strip against Nebraska to off their quarterback to give Michigan the ball back with under 3 minutes left. That's right. Brad Hawkins. Josh never understood the Shea Patterson hate. I agree. And by the way, I was supposed to take a chug. We got the 50 likes. I was supposed to take a chug for that. So blue Kool-Aid. Drank about half what was in there. That's water. It's not water. It's vodka. What happened there? Blue Gatorade and vodka. Yeah, it tastes kind of like liquid death at this point because it's been sitting out here for over an hour and I don't have any ice in it. So. Will Michigan be ranked in the top 10 too? I think yes, but at absolute worst 3. And if they are number 3, then it's I think we need to readjust who is voting on these polls. Guys, the NFL Draft is coming up. It is 13 days from now. Chat Sports, support the brand. We launched an NFL Draft only channel. It's linked in the comments, the description, the live chat, I should say right now. Producer Jack putting it up on there. If you can, show some love. Go comment Michigan in the most recent video if you can. It's a company collective effort across our 34 shows to put a lot of efforts into developing a NFL Draft channel throughout the entire year. Clearly, next 2 weeks are all about this year's NFL Draft. But after that, all right, think about the 2024 NFL Draft. Maybe J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum. Michigan's going to have a ton of potential first, second, and third round guys. So subscribe to the channel if you can. We'll give some shout-outs here. Jamie Broussard here in a moment. But subscribe to it and prove that the Michigan football fan base is representing, can help grow some other areas of the company. Show up by subscribing, youtube.com/chatnfl. Let's do a couple shout-outs, Jack. Put the menu up there. I'm going to do some shout-outs. So, whoever wants a shout-out, type me into the comments. I will give some shout-outs to anyone who types me before we get into our offensive depth chart. The depth chart's pretty interesting because this is about as proven of talent coming back from Michigan that you've ever seen. And I'm not sure if a ton is going to change, but there are 2 or 3 positions that I think have changed during spring ball from where we projected it back in January. Type me if you want a shout-out to Jamie Broussard. He's part of the squad. Give shout-outs. I know you were talking about Jamie from the show the other day. We're going to get to those later on in this live show. We'll get to the squad shout-outs from, I think it was Wednesday's show that we will get to. So appreciate that for Jamie for bringing that. We had it towards the end of the show. Maybe we'll push it up here in just a moment. So keep giving it me's. Mark Majkowski with the me. Al Sutton wants a shout-out. Lafayette Horton, big draft for my Lions. Love the draft. And he also gives a me, so go check out that one. Also, we have a Lions channel here. Just type Lions Chat Sports into the search box on YouTube to Lafayette. You can check our Lions channel with our guy Mike Kimber, a.k.a. Micro Mike is doing a great job for us. So type me if you want to shout out to Mark K-Money2KGG, who is on the hard hat for today's show. All right, we will start busting in to the wheel spins. Yeah, let's do a couple wheel spins. What do you have, 14? So, guys, give us a second. We gotta pay off some of this debt. 16 because we got more money that came in there. 16, so we keep jumping up that one. Jack will do a wheel spin for me. Next, coming up, offensive depth chart and analysis, and then we're going to take your questions, then do the defensive depth chart. So stick with us. Spin again. So that means a good one. That counts. That's kind of a get out of jail free card. So we got one off the mark there. All right. Brrr. Whoa. Ah. Ooh, we haven't done this one yet. Never have I ever. All right, so what happens if I have done it? What do I do, drink or something like that? Yeah, I guess never ever. It's like you drink or something like that. So I've got the blue Kool-Aid vodka. So if I've done it, I drink. If I haven't done it, I won't drink, okay? Okay. Jack's got the website. You got that still up? Yep. All right, let's see what we got, Jack. All right. Jack, you can do it. It can be anything. All right. If it's too simple and people won't like it, then okay.
Okay. Never have I ever kissed more than one person in 24 hours.
I hope my wife's not watching, but Jack, yeah. How? Well, I mean, that's happened. This happened many times, but Halloween, like 2003, Ohio University, dressed up like Chiquita Banana Woman as my costume, so I was going trans. And I also had some sort of sign that said "Kiss Me." I no joke, like 70 chicks in one night because they were loving that I was dressed up as a Chiquita Banana girl. So I did see IWTP Gaming says you see a Blake Corum signed deal, NIL deal with Derek Jeter. Jeter's got this NIL initiative that's just broke here in the last couple hours. It doesn't mean any money, but at least means opportunities that they can bring him. Marketing opportunities. So it's definitely a good thing. I hope more Michigan players get on board with Jeter's new NIL brand. 10 push-ups for me, Jack. Count them off here. 10 push-ups. I'm going to go down to the floor, guys. Take off the mic for 1 second.
All right, here he goes.
Oh, geez, I need a little more room. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Overachiever.
10. You can never just do 10, Jack. Always got to go a couple extra. You know what? Those extra reps, they're going to pay off in November. They're going to pay off against Ohio State. Trust me. I hope the Michigan football team sees that too. All right, so got that. Okay, 10 push-ups there, 12 push-ups, 13 wheel spins. Let's get down to 10, then we'll jump into the just do more. We got to pay off this debt, Jack. By the way, follow us on Instagram. I'm going to check the Instagram follows right here. Looks like we only got 3 or 4 since we put it on the show. So let's see who's following. What's that one? Well, but for 1 minute. All right. All right. You guys can hear me, I hope, with the mic. I'm going to put the new helmet on with all the stickers. All right. Yoder's Michigan Memories. Got to make sure that. Can you hear me, Jack, or is this probably not good? Yeah, this looks terrible. All right, Yoder's Michigan Memories. If you guys want to net Meg, thank you for watching. She is back. Haven't seen her yet today, so she is here. Let me just think of Yoder's Michigan Memories. All right, I'll give you the one from last year, Ohio State game, 2021 Ohio State game, Michigan. It's really funny because I decided not to go to the game. I've gone to the game for years. My dad, he wasn't going to go because of some medical issue, so didn't even opt in. Let my sister take her son and 2 of his friends. So watched it here with Chugs, one of the producers. Then we did a show afterwards. And I was saying all week, like, if Michigan beats Ohio State for the first time in 10 years at that point, 8 straight losses, we're going to Vegas. We're going to Vegas. And I didn't really plan for it. I brought a change of clothes just in case. Michigan wins the game. We do a post-game show. I go on my computer and I see there is a flight taking off in 2 hours from now. Airport's 20 minutes later from our office, and very expensive tickets because literally a flight in 2 hours direct to Vegas. Came back the next morning, and Jeremy, our producer, is like, "Well, my girlfriend's out of town. I got to let my dog out and all that stuff." I'm like, "Go and get your ass to the airport." He gets to the airport, Jack, with like 20 minutes till the flight taking off. All right. I'm going to tell you a broken rule here really quick, and I'm not going to go into the rest of the story because we made it to Vegas. They were closing the doors. He was still in security. I was going to say, I bribed a TSA agent $100, and the camera's around. I'm like, what's your Venmo? What's your Cash App? Gave me your Cash App. I cashed after $100. I said, please, just give me 5 more minutes. I don't want to miss this flight. I got the guy waiting, etc. We're just going to celebrate one night. We're coming back in the morning. She held the plane up for 10 minutes saying that they have baggage issues. For 5 minutes, I should say. And they're like, I got to close it. Like, one more minute. I hear a thundering herd around the corner. It's Jeremy just in all his glory with the book bag on. Makes the flight. We get into Vegas, have a wild time. Have to wake up at 5 a.m. to get back to the airport for like a 6:30 a.m. flight. But that's my Yours Michigan memory from last year's Ohio State-Michigan game, 2021. And one more. So we'll be at 10. Helmet? Okay, well. All right, so the helmet's not that big of a deal. We'll do one more spin, Jack, and then we will dive into I got to stop saying dive in. We should have a dive in counter. If I say dive in, drink. So 2 minutes for the helmet. Okay. Well, I guess it's not that big of a deal to do one more because we got time. I'm just gonna set a timer here so I don't forget. All right, what's the best animal? Roar! Is that good? Terrible? All right, there's lion sound. All right, so we're at 8. So I've got still a minute and 20 left on the helmet. So Jack, why don't we do one more until the helmet's off? If we get another one, we're spinning again for the helmet because I think it's just boring people if I'm just wearing the helmet. What's another animal? Monkey, Jack. I always do this thing with my son. It's the monkeys. Have you seen those monkeys? They like pick bugs off and eat like off the other. I do that to him to like poke him and tickle him a little bit. There you go, monkey sound. Embarrassing myself. I do it just for you guys. Okay, I got about 40 seconds left on the helmet here. Jack, do you want to learn do you know the song? Let's join in together, Jack. I'll go with you on screen. Just when I say hail, you pump your fist. All right, that's all we need to do. When I say hail, so let's teach Jack. Jack went to Arizona State, but over the last year, been the producer on the show, so he is a Michigan man himself. So Jack, it starts like this. You go hail. It's not more or less. It's more like a straight up in the air, like hail, like yeah. To the victors, valiant hail. To the conquering heroes. And you do it twice. Hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and past leaders. And then you hit it again. Hail to the victors, valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. And that's twice. Hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. Now, why is it the West, Jack? Is because this was written 100 plus years ago. Michigan was in the Western Conference. I don't think it was the Western Athletic Conference, like the Western Conference, et cetera, et cetera. And it wasn't the WAC, but helmet time is up as well. So that's why of the West. And then that got kind of turned into, well, celebrate winning the Rose Bowl could be champions of the West as well. All right. And how many more do we have? 6. So let's just get down to 5. One last one, Jack. For the people. Gotta pay off this debt. All right, what do we got a Michigan memory on? Let's see. I like that. Do a penguin. I like that one. Nutmeg. If we had a more nutmeg, if we had a more consistent live schedule, we probably would, but we don't. So I apologize. Let's hear Yoder Michigan memory. I don't know if I've got. Let's see a good one. Trying to think off the top of my head. Just trying to think of a game that people would have any interest in hearing my thought. Tom Nash, thank you for being a fan of the show. Appreciate that. Yoder's Michigan memory. Give me a. Trying to think of one. I'll tell the Bo Schembechler story, the very brief Bo Schembechler story. So, 1995, August 1995, Michigan was playing in like the Pigskin Classic against Virginia. It was Lloyd Carr's first game. It was Tom Brady's first game in a Michigan uniform as a true freshman. He didn't play. Charles Woodson's first game as a Michigan uniform. I was a kid going up to the game. We're listening to the radio station pregame, and they're broadcasting live from like the 15-year anniversary of the 1980 Rose Bowl team, et cetera, et cetera. And my dad just happened to have all these programs in like the back of the car. We'd bring them to games. We could read them, etc. We listen to things on the radio like old Bob Ufer tapes. Anyways, fast forward, we get there. They got all roped off. Somehow we just kind of acted as if it snuck in, right? This guy, dad in his 40s, this kid, and younger kid, and we get up there, and sure enough, my dad's like, go talk to Bo, go say hello, whatever. And I just did, like an idiot, like a kid, and he's like, Bo was probably, 65, 70 years old at the time, and he's like, everyone in there, Jack, everyone in there is a player, and any kid, of course, you're going to be with your parents, right? So what's the thought process? He probably thinks there. So he's like, who's your dad? I'm like, I'm James. He goes, yeah, how do you meet you? He's like, who's your dad? I'm like, Tom Yoder? And you look at his face, and he's like, Tom Yoder? I'm like, yeah, Tom Yoder? Yeah, he's like, all right, let's get this picture and get the hell out of here. I'm looking back, and he just stood there stunned for like 10 minutes. He thought Tom Yoder was some player he just forgot about. This is Michigan's coach for 20 plus years, right? 21 seasons. And so we snuck into the Michigan 1980 anniversary team party, and sure enough, he's like, Tom Yoder, is that son of a bitch tight end I kicked off the team for smoking pot? And that's the story there. So, your little Yoder Michigan memory, the time I met Bo Schembechler as a kid. Let's get into it. Nutmeg was at that game, one of the hottest games in Big Ten in Michigan football history. It was a late August game, the kickoff classic, kind of week 0 game. The Barber brothers, Michigan was down by 17 in the second half, came back and won that game by 1 point. Scott Dreisbach, redshirt freshman, to Mercury Hayes, corner of the end zone touchdown as time expired from 9 yards out. We've got 5 more wheel spins to do, but we don't want to bore anybody. We got more content to get to, so let's dive into it. I said it again, Jack. Drink. It is our Michigan football post-spring offensive depth chart. Let's jump into the post-spring offensive depth chart. Michigan has been out of spring practice for over a couple weeks now, and what did we learn from that spring practice? Has anything changed from the depth chart that we put out back in January after the season? We're going to tell you about what we know and what we think is going to happen once the Wolverines get on the field again in September. Before we do, let me know in the on-demand or the live chat, what was your favorite play from the 2022 season? We asked this question earlier in the live show as well, but want to make sure everyone watching this on demand shares their thoughts. Mine was the 75-yard touchdown run by Donovan Edwards, but I want to know yours. Comment below what your favorite play from this past Big Ten undefeated championship season was. After spring practice, J.J. McCarthy is no question your quarterback number one. It's probably one of the easier ones we'll talk about here on this list. But I think the surprise here is I believe that Jack Tuttle, the 6-year transfer from Indiana, has cemented himself slightly above Davis Warren as the quarterback 2. Now, Warren might actually get more reps because he potentially could be part of the future where Tuttle's just got this season. But I believe if a game came down to it where McCarthy couldn't play it and Michigan needed quarterback play to win a game, I think they would go to Tuttle over Davis Warren. I'm expecting a big season for J.J. McCarthy in 2023. You see his stats there on the left, 322 passing attempts. I think Michigan's going to bump that up, right? Projecting about 70 more passing attempts, 68 to be precise. So 4 to 5 more a game if they make it all the way to the national championship. 3,325 yards, about 600 yards jump from last year. I think he breaks the Michigan touchdown record, 31, 7 interceptions with the more passing. I think his yards per game will go up right around 25 to 30. Let me ask you, it's customer service month here at the company. How likely are you to recommend this show to a friend? If it's very high, give us a 9 or 10. That would help out, but we're going to score ourselves based on your results. How likely would you recommend this show to a friend who is a Michigan football fan? I think, of course. Anything less than an 8, though, I'd love to hear your feedback on what we could do better to earn your recommendation. I've always thought the best recommendations, hey, where should I go for dinner? What's the best this? Always comes from people you trust. So let me know what you guys think we could do better and give us a score 1 through 10. Running back depth chart. I'm jumping out here. I'm taking a swing. I don't know what to make some of the players. Michigan, Tavier Dunlap, C.J. Stokes, what happened to him down the stretch? Isaiah Gash, no one had ever heard of him before the Illinois game. It's tough to say. Corum and Edwards will be running back 1 and 2, 1A, 1B, no matter what. But I think Benjamin Hall, what we saw from him and the rave reviews that came out of the spring game and spring practice, I think by the time the season comes around, he will cement himself as the 3rd running back in this rotation. C.J. Stokes, the sophomore, takes a step back to 4th. The wild card there is Kalel Mullings. Some people are projecting him to be the 3rd running back. Some people are projecting him to not even be in the rotation, maybe move back to linebacker eventually. I think Mullings will be part of the rotation, but I don't think truly. When I do depth charts, just like a quarterback, I kind of say to myself, if the 2 guys in front of him, 1 guy in front of him, the people in front of him in the depth chart, if they cannot play, Who would Michigan go to when they needed to? I believe it would be Benjamin Hall, although you never know. Kalel Mullings might get more carries because Michigan might give him the ball inside the 5-yard line here or there, or those 3rd and 4th and 1 short yardage plays where he can kind of be like a battering ram for the running back position. Blake Corum was on pace for 1,700 yards before getting injured, missed the final 3 games of Michigan's season, really 3.5 games. So his 1,400 and some yards could have been 1,700, 1,800. But with the emergence of Donovan Edwards and the projected growth of the passing game for Michigan with McCarthy, will Corum be a 1,500-yard rusher this season? I'm putting that as the baseline number, right around where he was last year. Over or under 1,500 yards rushing for Blake Corum in this 2023 season? Let me know in the comments, O or U. If you guys haven't bought one yet, don't be the last guy in the block not wearing the Don shirt. I think it's one of my favorite shirts to wear right now. It's very comfortable. It's not a cheap shirt at all. I would say if you need an extra room around the waist or anything like that, get it with size large because it's like an athletic fitting shirt. It's tighter on the arms than probably a lot of t-shirts, but that's good if you're buff like me. I mean, look at those pythons. But get the Don shirt. We've got manufacturing in there, so we're not having any limited on orders for a while. We'll probably keep them going for sale for the next month. Pause for a while and bring them back in August. So get one before they go. Chatsports.com/Don7. Jack just put the link in the comment, the live chat. It's also down in the comments and the description of today's show. Tight end depth chart. I love what I heard, what I saw out of A.J. Barner, the transfer. Starting tight end at Indiana last year. Scored a touchdown in the spring game. You add that to the emergence of Colson Loveland against Ohio State, against Purdue. I think you've got a hell of a tight end duo right now for this next season, maybe even for 2 seasons because Barner's got multiple years of eligibility. Luke Schoonmaker, he decided to go pro because of the emergence of Colson Loveland. Eric All decided to transfer to Iowa because maybe he thought Loveland would get more of the plays. Loveland will be a star tight end, maybe even be as good as Jake Butt, although I don't know if he'll get back-to-back All-American accolades like Butt did. But this group, Loveland and Barner, if Michigan struggles at the wide receiver position, which they may, outside of Johnson and Wilson, you could see both those guys in the field, and hell, potentially both of them split out as kind of like that big Rob Gronkowski-style tight end role for Michigan this season. I'm super excited about the tight end position. I don't know if Michigan's had a better 1-2 combo going into a season, projecting Colson Loveland and A.J. Barner where they will be. Wearing my blue pants today. I got the blue shirt on, so I'm kind of wearing a non-branded Michigan uniform. Got the blue pants on as well now, so since I've got them on, I'll ask you guys, do you like blue uniform pants for Michigan? They broke them out in the 2021 season with the All Blues against Washington. Had brought the All Blues several more times, of course, in the game against Georgia, the Ohio State game, several others in the 2022 season then, and had the blue road uniforms, which I actually really like. So do you guys like blue pants, or do you want Michigan to stick to the traditional maize, or hell, even the whites that they finally got a big win out of against Ohio State back in Columbus in November? Let me know. Type like or type no. Wide receiver, I think, could be the weakest position on the team as far as depth right now. The wide receiver group, no one really stood out this spring outside of the known commodities of Cornelius Johnson and Roman Wilson. Right? Wilson's best role is being that slot wide receiver. You've seen his ability to go deep against TCU and in other games. And Cornelius Johnson, I think those touchdowns against Ohio State were a huge confidence builder for him. And him and J.J. McCarthy have worked on that long passing game. But where the struggle is who's the third wide receiver, right? Everyone thought it was going to be Darius Clemens. Hasn't really happened. I've heard some rumors that he maybe had some nagging injuries that the coaches thought he could play through. Tyler Morris, the sophomore, former high school teammate of J.J. McCarthy from 3 years ago. Maybe it's him. Backups, Peyton O'Leary was the star of the spring game, but I don't think he's more than Michigan's maybe 5th or 6th best wide receiver, so you won't see a ton of play out of him. Darius Clemens, the backup, he'll go to his sophomore year. Christian Dixon, haven't really heard anything from him. He's obviously a transfer portal candidate going into, I think, his 3rd, maybe 4th year of Michigan at this point. And A.J. Henning will never be a starting wide receiver at Michigan, but everyone knows what they get from Henning. Punt returner, kick returner, does reverses and can catch passes here and there. How about Michigan's offensive line, right? Maybe the deepest offensive line that we've seen out of this program ever, at least in the modern history of Michigan football, last 25, 30 years. They won back-to-back Joe Moore Awards for the best offensive line in college football. I love them. I love what they have coming back this year. I think they're too deep. The backup offensive line could be good enough to be a top 20, 25 offensive line in all of college football. You look back to the Ohio State game. Look at those 2 runs Donovan Edwards made, 75 yards, 85 yards. Now, clearly Edwards, bounced outside in the first one and just hit the crease in the second one right up the middle. But the blocking on the entire offensive line, most notably Olu Oluwatimi, who's obviously now gone, and Zach Zinter, were absolutely amazing. Those two guys alone on both those touchdown runs blocked 4 guys total, combined, 2 guys each. It's like they hit to the outside, they hit to the inside, and they kind of hit. It was really crazy outside. They came together, went out, and then shifted around. It was phenomenal blocking. They took up 4 defenders. The safeties and linebackers crashing down to fill those gaps got taken out by 2 offensive linemen who also were engaging on defensive linemen. It was absolute mastery by Sharon Moore, blocking schemes that broke off the 2 longest runs against Ohio State by a Michigan player in history, all in the final 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. The dime gets all the hype, baby, but that offensive line really deserves most of the credit for that fourth quarter performance by Michigan against Ohio State last year. Here's my depth chart. Ladarius Henderson, he's graduating from Arizona State in a matter of weeks, right? Late April, Jack, is when they're there. He is horns up. He's the Arizona State guy. Coming over, they're starting right tackle. He started 30-some games. He's coming over, going to be projected starting left tackle. Trevor Keegan, Drake Nugent from Stanford. Now, he didn't play in the spring game. So we didn't really get to see what he saw. Raheem Anderson filled in a couple different positions, but Anderson was recruited as a center, so I've got him as the backup center. Zach Zinter starting for his 3rd, maybe his 4th straight year. Actually, it'll be his 4th year starting for Zinter, as he will now be a 4th-year player. Carson Barnhart, and then a boatload of experienced players in the backups. Miles Hinton, starter at Stanford last year. Giovanni El-Hadi started a handful of games from Michigan due to injury. Reese Atterbury, Raheem Anderson don't have much starting, if any, starting experience. And then Trente Jones was the game 1 starter last year, ultimately lost his job to poor performance and a little bit of injuries throughout the year. That offensive line, too deep, is absolutely stacked. I think they have at least 7 or 8 starters that they feel comfortable with. Obviously, you don't only need 5, but I do think that Michigan could get into some 6 offensive lineman sets when they need 2, 3, 4 yards in the running game. But will Michigan win the Joe Moore Award for the 3rd straight year? Give me a Y for yes or N for no. Tough to say. Sometimes voters will just vote against someone, so they don't kind of same team, same school winning it. I thought that would happen to Michigan last year. Michigan doesn't deserve it 2 years in a row. They did, so maybe they can. I'm going to say no just because of that. It's very tough to win an award 3 straight years in anything, but let me know what you guys think. Give me a Y or an N. Recapping the depth chart really quickly for you guys. J.J. McCarthy, Jack Tuttle, and Davis Warren are your top 3 quarterbacks. Of course, Alex Orji will shake in there as well. Over to the running back position. The best 1-2 combo in the country, Diamond Edwards and Blake Corum. True freshman Benjamin Hall, 3rd, and C.J. Stokes. Kalel Mullings could get in there as well. We'll see how he is utilized once the season starts. Tight ends. I think Michigan's got 2 starting-level tight ends in A.J. Barner and sophomore Colson Loveland. Matthew Hibner, he can catch the ball. Max Bredesen was in there more as like an H-back, blocking a lot. Didn't get involved a ton in the passing game, but I've got him as my tight end 4. Wide receiver, Michigan still needs 1 more proven wide receiver outside of Cornelius Johnson and Roman Wilson. I've got Tyler Morris as the starter there, but Darius Clemens, hell, maybe even Peyton O'Leary will put their hat in the ring as Michigan gets to fall camp in August. On the offensive line side, Ladarius Henderson, Trevor Keegan, Drake Nugent, Zach Zinter, and Carson Barnhart, 3 returning starters from Michigan's line last year in that starting group, and then 2 starters from the Pac-12 in Henderson and Nugent, with a few starters. Trente Jones and Giovanni El-Hadi started a handful of games for Michigan last year. Miles Hinton was a starting tackle for Stanford last season. Let me know what you guys think of my offensive depth chart, A, B, C, or DEF. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade me on accuracy of where you think, hey, this is where I think it'll be or where it should be in the fall, and versus what I have put out here as we are still 4 months out from Michigan get started in the 2023 season. All right, the chat has been a little light today. Got 100 and some people watching here. So can we shower the chat with some Go Blues? Make sure that everyone feels welcome. Michigan football fans feel welcome in our live chat. Give me some Go Blues. I'm gonna type one myself, so everyone is loving the Go Blues. I'm gonna type like 3 times just so we can get there. Josh Sherwood says yes to a Joe Moore Award 3-peat. Go Blue. I like this. Chaz Juan Wilson says Braylon Edwards is my favorite wide receiver from Michigan. I think that's a lot of people's as well. Older guys might say Anthony Carter. People in their 40s, 50s, late 40s, 50s might say Desmond Howard. For my generation, it is for sure Braylon Edwards. But some people, maybe Mario Manningham could be up there for Michigan fans right around that Braylon Edwards time. Type Go Blue in the comments. We got a Go Blue from Jeremy Clore. Jeremy, a hard hat guy, coming back for a show. Matt Lapointe. Luis Pop says Cole Cabana. I don't know. I didn't see much from Cole Cabana. I didn't hear a ton from him in the spring. He's got to put on some weight, is what we've been told. Richard Snow, Go Blue. Tanner. Ringo, I like that. Ringo Stargazer is a Go Blue guy as well. Favorite wide receiver from Matt Lapointe says Marquise Walker. That's a good one. You could say David Terrell, maybe Ty Streets. He didn't put up a ton of stats, but was the hero of kind of an Ohio State-Michigan game in 1996, and then caught those touchdowns against Washington State in the Rose Bowl, which was a default national title game for Michigan after the 1997 season. Cody Mount for coming in with a super chat. Cody, if you weren't here earlier, just want to make sure we give you a shout out. You are a hard hat guy. I think you're somewhere here in the first hard hat. You can right there, Cody. You've got the 20 spot from the Jaden Davis commitment. So we are 2 full helmets, guys. 2 full helmets, and we've only done 1 live show before today in this. This is the 2023 season for this show now, and we've got 5 sticker helmets on the show for today. So really appreciate everyone who's contributed to that show. Cody Mountford says the pass breakup on Cade Stover, best play of the year. Bosa. If you guys aren't familiar with one, Ohio State was down, I think, 11 at the time, and they were driving with about, 8 minutes left in the game, and they score. Right, all they need to stop Michigan once, they could go for the win. And on third down, Coleridge Stroud drops back, kind of goes to his right a little bit, lofts kind of a beautiful ball to Stover, who's got 2-3 feet, 2 body lengths even on Mike Sainristil. Sainristil just caught up to him and just got underneath that left hand, just batted the ball away as soon as it got in his hands. And Stover actually had 3 plays like that during the game. I think there's one in the first half, and then that last play, one of the last plays of the game, might even been the interception of Stroud to really end the game. I think may have been Stover as well. So he had a tough game. But Mike Sainristil, that was definitely the defensive play, I think, of the game for Michigan, maybe of the year. Super chat menu. It's been a little light super chat day, but that's kind of expected. Nothing. We're not breaking any news here on the show. There's not a ton to talk about. That's why we don't do live shows more than every couple weeks in the off season, sometimes if ever. But I did want to give you guys the opportunity to get yourself involved if you want. Every 50 likes, we are drinking the blue Kool-Aid. We're at 74 likes, so I'll take a small sip because I'm kind of thirsty. It is blue Gatorade and vodka, half and half, so it's pretty damn strong, and now it's warm. So. If we get 26 more likes, I got to chug the rest of it, so don't do that. Don't like the video. $5 chat gives you a shout out and put your question. We're doubling up on $10 because we saw a flaw in the $15 system on mobile. $10 is a double super chat, wheel spin, and then a sticker on the new helmet. You will get your name, the date, and your contribution, and anyone who's on the helmet will be part of our off-season 2024 off-season video. So from next February through fall of 2024, every other show will have a kind of producer's credits and have your name and your contribution to the show on there. Every $250, which we won't get there on this show. We're at 77 right now. We will shotgun a full beer. Michael Souders, he's going to come in with a spin, and he gives me one of these Super Chat stickers, which I don't know how. We got to figure out how to put those on the channel. Brett's got to figure that out maybe. It's the #1 fan Super Chat sticker. So Michael Souders, thank you so much for the Super Chat. I'm going to give you a sticker right now, and then we're going to spin the wheel. Jack, why don't you spin the wheel while I'm writing this down so we're not boring anybody. Souders. Jacks? What is it? Jumping Jacks? All right, jumping. Is that what it was? Jumping Jacks. Jack Lauderay, a.k.a. Young Harbaugh, a.k.a. Jumping Jack, is going to come over here and do 5 jumping jacks. Jack, you got to get, this is good. You're getting you involved in the show. Kind of taking some. Okay, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jumpin' Jack Lauderay, a.k.a. Young Harbaugh. Michael, I have got you right on the helmet, right there. A little glare in the light. $10 Super Chat. Thank you so much for your #1 fan sticker. Keep it rolling, Jack. Show that Super Chat menu one more time. If you want to show the Super Chat leaderboard from the entire season, we'll touch on that, and then we'll go to the Michigan Live Q&A. So there's the menu if you want to get involved. Those $5. Really any amount will probably eventually show up, but $5 gives you an extra special shout-out, and we'll answer your question nearly right away. The leaderboard for this season through 2 shows: John Blaze, Backroad Blue, Matthew Spence, Charles Kennebrew, Jim Prindable, Javier Gregson, Mike K, Cody Momfer, Kay Momfer, both contributors to this show, Robert Davis, and then a handful of other people tied with Davis there at $20. Question I want to ask you guys was Ryan Day born on third base? Let me know what you guys think. Y for yes and for no. Jim Harbaugh, famous for saying after the 2021 Michigan-Ohio State game, some people hit born on third base and think they hit a triple, but they didn't. Clear shot at Ryan Day. Give me a Y for yes and for no, or type Y, yes or no in the live chat. Jeremy Clore coming in with a yes. Michael Souders, I see your boast there. Appreciate you on that. Whatever you guys do, I am 22 likes away. We're 22 likes away from me having to chug the rest of this warm vodka and Gatorade. So whatever you do not like the video. Don't like it. Kidding. I like the video. I don't want to drink it, but I will. Yes for KMoney2KGG. Derek Mottsinger says yes as well. So appreciate that. Guys, use hashtag Michigan to get your super chat to get your question live on the show. We've got about 10, 12 minutes of your questions coming up. But before we do, Stephen Mers, Chicago. Stephen, appreciate you. Oh, I like this one. He says, Dallas Police Department is headed to the Chat Sports office because you're murdering it. The Michigan Football Report, keep up the good work. I think he's saying we're murdering it, we're killing the game, we're crushing it. Appreciate you. Mike, Steven, I'm going to get you on the stickers right now, and I think it means we've got some more wheel spins coming up. Thank you so much to Steven for the super chat. Let me get you with a helmet sticker. Animal sound. Jack, what can animal? Guys, first person to type an animal, as long as it's one I know the sound, I will give your animal sound. So if you can, everyone put an animal, someone put an animal in the live chat. Help me not have to think as much. Let's see. Can anyone put an animal in the, yeah, I don't want to think about animals. I'm trying to do this is the wrong helmet. I got to grab this one. Pig. Oh, that's the easy one. All right, pig sound. There you go. Should we do one more wheel spin just to knock off the number? Stephen Mers. Mers. There you go, brother. Appreciate you. You're the man. How many do we owe, Jack, still? 4 left after this one. So we have 5. Every time we get a $10 super chat, it adds to the total. And we had another animal sound. So type in if anyone could toss another animal in the super chat. I'd appreciate that. What kind of animals? I don't think a dog. How about this? I'll just do it. Jeremy Clore with the super chat. Horse. Is that a horse sound? Kind of like, nah, there you go. Appreciate that. Horse from Go Blue. Jeremy Clore with the $10 super chat. It's one we could probably answer now. We also toss in here in a moment in the live Q&A as well. What game other than OSU will give Michigan the toughest test this season? I think Penn State on the road will be a tough test. Now, if you saw my schedule prediction, we did that at the beginning of the live show about 45 minutes ago or so, an hour ago. It was Penn State. I didn't give a prediction. Right? Drew Allers is a great quarterback from Medina, Ohio, right near where I grew up as well. He was a 5-star. He was one of the top 3 quarterbacks in that 2022 class. He didn't start. He didn't get enough time. He got a little bit of time last year. But if he lives up to the hype, and if James Franklin has any sort of coaching chops with that young talent they have on offense, and Penn State's always been a good defensive school, they should be a 11 or more win team this season and next, if not further, depending on if Allers stays for 4 years or not. So I think that road game, Penn State, never know, could be a night game, could be one of those NBC night games, the new TV contract. That is, without question, I think, other than Ohio State, the toughest game Michigan will face this year. Let me give Jeremy Clore another. Ooh. So never have I ever, everybody. If you guys aren't familiar, Jack's going to look something up. We got a website.
I already got it.
And if I have done it, I will drink. If I haven't done it, I won't drink. And if it's not too crazy, I will give some commentary on whether I have or haven't. So go ahead. Jeremy, I got your sticker here. Jack, go ahead.
Never have I ever thrown a drink at someone.
Ooh, I'm not going to drink. Now, I've poured a drink on someone, but not thrown. Poured a drink on someone, not thrown. But it wasn't a drink. It was water. It was like my girlfriend's friend, and she was drunk and mouthing off. It was like 20 years ago in our apartment and annoying everybody, so I just poured a cup of water on her. She wasn't being very nice. I don't think she appreciated it, and it's probably one of my not proudest moments. But nevertheless, it is what it is. How many more do we have after this? 4 left? 3 left. Okay, so we will take questions now. We can take Jeremy's question. We can answer as part of the cut. Coming up, use hashtag Michigan, guys. We will dive. I can't say dive in, Jack. Another drink. We will take all your questions. Anyone using hashtag Michigan or super chatting, we'll get on this segment, which will go up on the channel early next week. So let's get into it. It's the Michigan Football Report live Q&A here on a Friday afternoon. Let's get it rolling. First one coming in from younger Harbaugh. If Jim Harbaugh leaves or retires in 3 years and Sharon Moore isn't on staff still, who would be top coaching targets? And he uses the hashtag Michigan. It's a very good question, which I will get to in a second, but I did want to make sure you guys know we are sponsored by RexMD. Go to rexmd.com/chat. Get up to 90% off your male pills that you need from RexMD. The leader in men's telehealth. RexMD is the place to go. It's rexmd.com/chat. I'm going to answer that question in a moment. I want to know from you guys, who is the best running back in Michigan football history, in your opinion? Answer down below this video. I'll pin this comment to beneath the video for the on-demand cut if you're watching that. If you're watching live, go ahead and light up the super chats, the live chat. Who's the best running back in Michigan football history? Why do I ask? Well, I think Blake Corum, Diamond Edwards, they could make a case for it. I don't think they'll have the big stats, but for me, I'm just going to probably say Mike Hart, 4-year starter. Didn't beat Ohio State, but is the leading rusher in Michigan football history and really was just an absolute mainstay. Was hurt a little bit in 2005 and, of course, in 2007, but had some phenomenal years and then certainly was one of the most productive players Michigan's ever had. All right, we are taking your questions here on our Michigan Football Live Q&A. Use hashtag Michigan or Super Chat to get on the show. As always, anytime you're watching us live, you use hashtag Michigan or Super Chat. We'll put you on the show and part of these live mailbags that we put on the channel as on-demand videos in the following days. Jeremy Clore's got a question here, and then we'll go back to the Harbaugh question, younger Harbaugh. We'll dip back to that one we teased at the top of the show. Jeremy Clore says, what game other than Ohio State will give Michigan the toughest test this season? I think Penn State on the road will be a good test. The video we put out after the live show on Friday that we started the show with said all my game predictions. I predicted Michigan to win 12 games, including the Big Ten schedule and Big Ten championship game. Let's see what happens in the playoffs. I didn't give a prediction for Penn State. At Penn State is going to be the toughest game of the year outside of the game against Ohio State. It's a road game. We saw Ohio State had to have phenomenal play down the stretch last year. Like JT Tuamala had to have like 3 or so turnovers and kept stripping the ball and intercepting it to get that win. And they should have an upgraded quarterback this year with Drew Aller. So if James Franklin has any coaching ability, Penn State's going to go on themselves a great 3-year run last year and the next 2. I put it as 50-50. It's going to depend on how Drew Aller performs, what we think of him coming out of their spring practice, of course, and then as you start hearing rumblings coming out of fall camp in August. So I'll give a prediction on that, probably the week of the season, late August, early September. Go back to the question from younger Harbaugh. So he said if Jim Harbaugh leaves or retires in 3 years, so that would probably be after 2025 season. Okay. And Sharon Moore is not in the staff. So that means either they fired him or he's moved on to take another offensive coordinator job or maybe more likely a head coaching job at another school. So I'm just going to go with that one. That Moore is not going to get fired. He will be a head coach at a smaller school. Let's just say that in this scenario. Who would be the top coaching targets for Michigan? Well, if they get the ball rolling and Jesse Minter's still on staff, and he's been on the staff now for 4 years at this point, Minter would have to be the proper guy. If Mike Hart backfills Harbaugh, he would probably be right up there, 1 and 1A. Sharon Moore as well, if he's had success, right? It all depends. If he goes somewhere and just completely, struggles, goes 4-8 at some school like Indiana, then he's not going to be a candidate. Outside of those 3, it's too far off to really consider. I still do think that Luke Fickell, who's now at Wisconsin, I know he's an Ohio State guy. I know that's his dream job, but if he does well at Wisconsin, he's got no loyalty there. We saw the last couple off seasons in college football. Brian Kelly left Notre Dame to go to LSU. Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma to go to USC. Coaches are flipping schools left and right now that you never thought would in the past. So Michigan, no matter who it would be, they would probably swing for the fences. And then if they didn't get the coach they were looking for, whoever that is, probably fall back to one of the guys on staff. I'll ask you guys, though, will Jim Harbaugh be Michigan's coach after 3 years, so 4 seasons from now in 2026? Will Harbaugh have that kind of longevity? It means he'll be over a decade at Michigan's coach. He'll probably go into what, in 3 years from now? He'll be going to like his 11th season or so with Michigan. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Guys, feeling nervous or not performing at your best in the bedroom can be a confidence killer, but don't worry. Our sponsor, RexMD, is here to help. As the most trusted leader in men's telehealth, RexMD makes it easy, discreet, and affordable to get generic and branded Viagra and Cialis online. No embarrassing trips to the doctor or insurance copays. Jack, this is a problem for guys because they might have erectile dysfunction. They may have problems. They don't want to go to the doctor and talk about it with some doctor like, well, this. They want to go into the pharmacy at CVS and say, Jack LaDeray, we've got your Viagra. RexMD makes it discreet. You can talk to a medical professional, create a personalized plan, and get your product shipped straight to your door within 2 days. And they don't just have ED medication. They also offer sexual health, hair growth, pain relief, and sleep aid medication. So if you need some little boost in the bedroom, if you're losing some hair, like some people I know have pain relief or need some help with sleep, you can save up to 90% on your ED treatment and others with RexMD. Don't let ED come between you and your relationship. Take advantage of this deal, up to 90% off. You only pay $2 per dosage. It's at rexmd.com/chat. rexmd.com/chat, up to 90% off. Starter packs of generic Viagra and Cialis are available for our viewers. Get started at rexmd.com/chat. Thank you so much to RexMD for sponsoring today's video. Tom Nash coming in from a question. James, thoughts on Lloyd Carr's grandson not going to Michigan? Well, it wasn't great. I think Notre Dame and Ohio State and Michigan State fans all laughed at Michigan, especially when you got Lloyd Carr at the ceremony wearing the hat, Notre Dame hat. It hurt last summer when it happened. Last June, I think he committed to Notre Dame after his sophomore year in high school. But Michigan got ultimately what I think is a better player in Jaden Davis. Now, Dante Moore would have been a nice, in-between or in the 2023 class to be a freshman this year to kind of bridge the gap after J.J. McCarthy, because after the season, right, Michigan doesn't really have any proven quarterback talent. They might be relying on a true freshman in Jaden Davis, but it stinks because he's going to Notre Dame. I think we'll find out he'll be a good college quarterback, not a star, and Michigan probably sees Jaden Davis as higher ceiling, higher floor. So we'll come in, more ready to play and probably can, reach the heights like a J.J. McCarthy or better as Michigan quarterback, where maybe the knock on C.J. Carr is that he is like a game manager and certainly not a superstar or NFL level quarterback. Thanks for the question for Tom. It stinks. It hurts. I wish him the best. He's not going to play Michigan probably. And live on the Carr name, make it look good. But I was really surprised. Your grandpa was the head coach at Michigan. Maybe you want to get out from his shadow, but I thought he was a for sure Wolverine. Mark Majkowski, longtime viewer, one of our day ones. He says, who is the highest O-line ceiling between Hinton, Henderson, Barnett, Barnhart, and Trente Jones, I'm guessing. Miles Hinton, Ladarius Henderson, Carson Barnhart. Good one. I don't think it's Hinton or Jones. I think it's going to be backups this year, and maybe we'll get 1 year to start. If you have some departures after this season, they might be your stars in 2024. I would say, I don't know, maybe Carson Barnhart. I don't know what we're going to get out of Ladarius Henderson because he's not played at a school that I think is known in a program for having a great running attack, or even, I don't know, Jack, what's their offense known for these days at Arizona State? Is it your running offense, passing offense, or just an offense? Just an offense. So we'll see. I don't want to, he could end up being one of the better ones. He's a 3-year starter for the most of the last 3 years for Arizona State. So it could be him. I would certainly rank him over Miles Hinton or Trente Jones. And I'm still excited about Carson Barnhart. He came in last year, was a 6 offensive lineman, stole the job from Trente Jones. So I'll give him the bump up there, and is now solidifying himself as a multiple-year starter. You never know. He could end up being an all Big Ten player this year if he continues to improve. So I'm going to guess Carson Barnhart, but I'll readjust that when we see what Ladarius Henderson does in a Michigan football uniform. If you guys love Michigan football, it's your first time watching, or you've watched in the past and have yet to subscribe, make sure you are doing so. It's youtube.com/Michigan TV. If you're watching on your computer, there's a little subscribe button below the video. If you're watching on mobile, maybe you got, depending on what service you have, make sure you hit our channel, subscribe, so you always get the Michigan Football Report in your YouTube feed. Next question coming in from The Don. He says, who leaves or transfers in? So who leaves and transfers in when portal opens up again in May? I got in trouble a couple years ago. Not real trouble, but I had some, there's some parents of players that DM me like, not very happy because I kind of did a projection of like my 5 players who I think are likely to transfer after spring ball. And my son's not transferring. You're a liar. And so I'm going to avoid mentioning actual names at this moment because there's still speculation. But we'll know in a couple weeks, 17 days, 16, 17 days from now. Where I will say you should start looking is in a couple places. Number one, I think wide receiver. I think you might get 2 wide receivers who end up transferring after spring practice. And with Andrew Anthony transferring, etc., Ronnie Bell, the wide receiver position is going to be very thin. Now, I also could see Michigan going and getting a wide receiver or two in the transfer portal. Michigan already brought in 3 offensive linemen, so offensive line, I've heard one player that might be in my 2 deep, one player that's not in the 2 deep that could transfer as well. So I bet we'll see 4 to 6 transfers out of the Michigan football program. I would guess the majority is on offense, and then there's one guy for sure in the secondary, a second-year player, safety, let's just say, who was very highly rated that really hasn't got too much in playing time last year and is not projected to get much playing time in his second year. Is also a third-year player, corner from the West Coast that I think may transfer after spring practice. K-Money2KGG says, what do you think if we go 13-0 and we play in the first round and lose to a Bama or Georgia? Would it be that much of a disappointment if we keep it close? Well, in this scenario, Michigan's 13-0. They're likely going to be a top 2 seed, if not the number 1 seed in the playoff. So that means that Georgia or Alabama, it would have to be the worst of those 2 teams, I'm guessing, because I would guess the winner would probably be the number 1 seed, unless Michigan's the number 1 seed, but it's going to be at least the 3rd best team in college football. So, I think it'd be a disappointment. I really do. The SEC champ is probably going to be at worst the second best team, the second ranked team. So if Michigan's 13-0, they'll be at worst the second best team. So there you go. There's your top 2. So you either have a conference runner-up, or you've got a conference champion maybe in the scenario that lost a game, and then you've got an undefeated team from another conference. We'll see. But I still would be disappointed. I still would be disappointed if Michigan got there and lost to an Alabama or Georgia. Those teams aren't bringing back their starting quarterback like Michigan is. Georgia's going to have a hell of a defense. A lot of questions on offense outside of Brock Bowers. Alabama's got a lot of questions, but a lot of talented players. Who's their quarterback? Who's their running back? The wide receiver crew hasn't really stepped up the last season and going into this season. So I would be disappointed considering how much and how deep this Michigan football team is. Because for me, it's Houston or bust. It really is. H-O-B. It's going to be the new mantra. So if you guys want to just type something sometime, the live chat, the on-demand, outside of Bosa, outside of Go Blue, type H-O-B, Houston or bust. We might just get shirts, Jack. We might just get shirts that say Houston or bust and wear them all offseason. That's what I have. It's the national championship game, second week of January, Monday night. Michigan needs to be in there, or I think this season could be considered a disappointment by a lot of people, myself included. Cody Monfort, a hard hat guy, says, James, do you believe our pass rush will be able to help cover up our obvious number 2 cornerback issues? Jack, if we've got our depth chart, we popped that, so show my defensive depth chart really quick. We're going to talk about depth chart here in a second on the live show, but this a D-line depth chart, yeah. So you're right in saying that Michigan's secondary is kind of unproven at that second cornerback position. I think Amarian Walker, Jaden McBurrows, etc. But look at this defensive depth chart right here. Michigan's backups in the interior, Rayshon, Trap Money Benny, and Kenneth Grant, could start for probably 122 out of 130 teams in college football in the interior. I got Josiah Stewart come over from Coastal Carolina, beating out Derek Moore, the sophomore, right? But Moore could be a starter for a lot of teams this year. Jalen Harrell, returning starter on the defense end. So there is a chance that this group of starters and this group of backups could be the deepest and maybe the most productive that Michigan's had in a long, long time, if not ever. So Michigan needs to have that, because until you get a proven second cornerback, and Michigan's had that the last couple of seasons, right? After the 2021, we didn't know what we get from corner. 2022, of course, DJ Turner steps up. Jamon Green has a big step up in his his final year at Michigan, and then the emergence of Will Johnson. Now it's just Will Johnson. Mike Sanders still might dabble here or there, but he's still more of a safety nickel type guy. I do think the defensive line will be the strength of this year's team, maybe altogether, right? Even up there as good as running back for the depth and the talent they have. I'm looking for a big year out of quite a few players, but Mason Graham in the interior, and then I really think that Josiah Stewart coming off the outside could be one of the better combos Michigan's had, maybe ever. Casey Scott says, who's the breakout player on defense? Mason Graham, although I don't think he will have crazy stats because guys in the interior never get 10, 12 sacks. It's because they're there more to fill up space. They're there to take on 3 different players, make the quarterback uncomfortable up the middle, make him roll out and not have a clean pocket. So I think Mason Graham, even though it'll kind of be his second year starting, his first year starting really the whole season, he is someone that I expect to just kind of level up his game to an all Big Ten first-team player. But I think people are going to like what they see out of Josiah Stewart there at the linebacker position. On the other side of the ball, could this be, the secondary, could this be the time where Rod Moore goes from being a very solid safety to being an all-conference and a playmaking safety? I think it's yet to be seen, but he is one of the more tenured players on this team. And still, he has 2 years left that he could be in a Michigan football uniform. So those are the guys I'll say, but I'll put my money right now on Mason Graham. Look at that picture. Beat Ohio State again. I love it. So if you guys have been with me since day one on the Beat Ohio State Again train, type it in the comments. We can't let up, right? We cannot let up on this mantra. So we've got 2 now. So I want to tell you about them both as we are, coming up on, the dog days of spring and into summer for this program. But we cannot let the pedal off the metal. Let's beat Ohio State again every single day of the year. Give me a boast like Case and Scott did down in the comments or the live chat. Bill Graves, what ratio of run pass do you see this year? I talked about the pluses and minuses of Corum Edwards being out this offseason in the past couple weeks. Pluses, you got to see what you had at the other running back positions. Other pluses, you got to allow J.J. McCarthy to be a little more free, like focus more on the passing game, where Jim Harbaugh probably hasn't done that as much in the past as Michigan's head coach. You're not going to give all those first-team reps to Benjamin Hall or Cole Cabana or Kalel Mullings because you know what you have in Edwards and Corum. So Michigan focused a lot more on downfield passing, and Cornelius Johnson had a hell of a spring. Roman Wilson continued to improve as a downfield passer and really solidified himself to be on the field more because last year, even though he was a starter, he would only play about half the snaps because he wasn't really seen as a deep threat and couldn't run all the different routes that Michigan had. Going into this year, though, I think they're going to try and get it more towards 50-50. It will be a still run-focused team. I think where Michigan needs to improve is the passing game in the red zone, without question. Of course, the running game without Blake Corum really struggled as well. But I think it'll be as close to 50-50 as we've been in the Jim Harbaugh era because he knows what he has in J.J. McCarthy, and he knows this probably could be McCarthy's last year. If he, is projected as a first-round pick, once the season starts, he would likely go pro. After that, what happens to this team? You always know you can go back to that ground rate offense if you're, breaking in a new quarterback. I'm going to go 46% passing, 54% running. If you take out the first 3 games of the year, so start with Big Ten games only, I'm going to be right at 50-50, but I've been proven wrong in the past, thinking Michigan would break out this new passing game, and they ultimately didn't end up doing it. Thank you so much to Bill Graves. Thank you so much to everyone who watched this Michigan football mailbag. If you've yet to super chat, we had a bunch of super chats on the show today, but it's a little lie. What's that? Oh no, Jack says we're $4 away from 100. Oh, so it means 154 away from shotgunning a full beer, which I don't want to do. So don't super chat. All right, don't make me do that because I will have to do it. We're going to go over the defensive depth chart here in a moment. Give one shout out to everyone who has super chats. This is through 2 shows on this 2023 season. Hard hat. We fill up 2 hard hats on our Jaden Davis watch party on March 31st. I'm going to give some shout outs to all those people. The leaderboard, John Blaze, Backroad Blue, Matthew Spence. Where's Backroad Blue? He's a one and doneer, right? He didn't go the first one. That's okay. But he came in with $351 in his first super chat appearance. Matthew Spence, Charles Kennebrew, Jim Printable, Javier Gregson, Mike K, Cody Mountford, and Cody's $12 today, right, himself? And then Robert Davis, kind of one of 8 there with $20. Take a look at these bad boys right here. Jack put me on screen. That's the first hard hat helmet. You can see all the names. Cody Mountford, Jim Printable. It is just littered with Backroad Blue and John Blaze, our Super Chat MVPs and runner-up. So we filled 2 helmets up. Josh Sherwood. This is literally the second helmet. It's basically all those guys. John Blaze. And Backroad Blue. Javier Gregson, Matthew Spence, Charles Kennebrew, Jim Prindle. I see yours as well here. Wolverine Alaska, one of our big timers from the 2022 season. He got in there last week. He's got to be busy with some patients right now. Who else do we have on here? I think I gave everybody a shout out on this helmet. And then today's super chatters, we got Shane Johnson, my guy. We got Mike K, Blue Wolverine, Matt Shook, K Money 2KGG, Jeremy Clore, Michael Souders, and my man Steven Mers, from Chicago, filling up that third helmet in our 2 live shows. What year did you become a Michigan football fan? I'll give a few of these shout outs here. Luis says 60-40 run. That's pretty much what it's been in the past, and sometimes even more, like 63-64% run and 36-37% pass. Kaysen says Bosa, Netmag with a Bosa. I like this question from Jay Chase. Since we're not going to do much mailbags, I'll answer it now. Next year, do you think JJ will go to the draft? I think I would say it's 60% likely he goes to the draft because I do think Jim Harbaugh knows what he has, and if he doesn't have to put up Ohio State quarterback stats. If he puts up really good stats and proves he can still be mobile and not get injured, I think J.J. McCarthy could start being projected as a first-round pick. But he might be best served not being in the draft next year because you got a lot of talented quarterbacks. Caleb Williams next year, Drake May from North Carolina, among several others. Quinn Ewers, of course. Ohio State's quarterback Kyle McCord could be a one and done. You never know. The year after that, not as proven out. J.J. McCarthy could be kind of like the projected, number 1 pick, top 10 pick, if he were to stay for his senior year without as loaded of a quarterback class. Nutmeg in 1969. I remember she said she was at the Ohio State Michigan game, Bo's first game, the big upset of number 1 Ohio State, 24-12 in 69. Kaysen says 2016. J.H. Chase says 2017. I have this question from Mark. The Dons split wide, how often? Big negative from spring practice. I talked about some positives. Big negative from spring practice. Michigan has been developing a playbook to get those guys in the field more often together, but we haven't really been able to put it into practice, and a lot of that includes getting them involved in the passing game, both Corum and, of course, Diamond Edwards, maybe Michigan's most talented wide receiver, although he's also their potentially most talented running back. We've gone through the latest news and rumors, 2 Michigan football Q&As, and we've done our post-spring football offensive depth chart. I'm going to take this sip of the blue Kool-Aid. Where are we at in likes? Do we ever get to 100 yet likes? Probably not. That's fine, so I have to chug it. Take a sip. What do you say? Nice. Bosa, probably, that one. Houston or bust. I like it. That's pretty cool, Kaysen. Appreciate that. Good stuff. Bill Graves coming with a super chat. Let's give him some love. Jack with a $10 super chat puts us over $100 on today's show. Bill, you are getting on there. First time super chatter, Bill Graves. You are the man. 414 coming in with the tenor. Thank you so much to Bill Graves. He says, love the show. Keep it up. Go blue. That means we've got to do another wheel spin, Jack. Let's just do like 2 or 3. Get us down so we don't keep accumulating wheel spin debt. Bill, check it out right there. I got you, Bill Graves. $10 on the day. Spin again. So we bid one. So how many do we have left now? 3 left. Okay. Spin again. Maybe kind of like, skip one. That's fine. Let's see what we got. Thanks so much, Bill Graves, with the $10 super. Defensive depth chart coming up here in just a moment. Bill with the first-time super. Sing hail to the victors. All right, Jack, we'll do it together. I'll do it. Hail to the victors, valiant. Hail to the... It's not this, though. It's the side. You got to turn the fist to the side. Yeah. Green heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and best. Hail to the victors, valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders. Jump. I'm trying to review the champions of the West. Go blue. That's how it kind of sings. And there's a lot of other ones. It's the best fight song in all of college football. Hell, in all of music. It's the best, probably the best song, right? Never have I ever. Okay, so we have 1 more or 2 more after this. 1 more. Okay. Never have I ever. Jack, give me a random never have I ever. If I've done it, I drink. If I haven't, I don't.
Never have I ever dined and dashed.
Ooh. It's like, is there statute of limitations on this?
I don't think the Dallas PD is going to come get you over this.
Well, I don't know. Did you see that one super chat?
Well, they're not here yet, so.
All right, so I've done this one time in my life, and not because I didn't have the money to do it, but because I was just on spring break, and a couple buddies from high school was on college spring break. Friends from high school were there as well, different colleges, hadn't seen each other in a few 6 months, etc. And so we had lunch, and we were just getting drunk there, and it was like no one was in this beat-down restaurant, something like that. It was in Panama City, Florida, and we did, and we were just joking. We came up with this whole plan. We think, no way we're going to do it, no way we're going to do it. And it was like, okay, you walk out of the bathroom. I'm going to go over there by the thing, and then last guy sitting at the table. First 2 guys walk out the door. Last guy just goes as soon as the waitress in. And we couldn't stop laughing, and we thought we were going to get in trouble because we were laughing our ass off running on the beach. So I felt bad. I should go back one day, figure out that restaurant, give that waitress a tip 20 years later. But so one time in my life, I have done it. Last one, is this last one now, or we have one left? Again? Okay, never have I ever. So I got to take a drink for that. I have done that one time.
Never have I ever got on the wrong train or bus.
Oh, this is, yeah, I have many times. I am pretty bad at public transportation. That's why I don't take it. And so most recently, about 5 years ago, was in New York City for work by myself. And I had to go to a meeting uptown, Midtown. I was in kind of down towards Wall Street area. And I got on the train, and I wasn't paying attention to my phone, whatever it was. 15 minutes later, I'm like, gosh, there's going to be like an 18-minute train ride. Look up, And just because I didn't realize we went through a tunnel and we're in Brooklyn. Yeah, so I was late for the meeting, and so that's one of many times. I never know which direction to go when I've been in foreign countries. I do it all the time. So that is the last one. We have finally caught up. We had 18 of those wheel spins to do from our last show that we owed wheel spin debt, and then about 7 or 8, 9, 10 more that we had to do today. So we've done like 30 wheel spins. Thanks so much for participating. Let's jump into it, guys. Slam the comments with some Go Blues. We are going to take you through the Michigan football post-spring defensive depth chart. Let's get it rolling here on the Michigan Football Report right now. I'm your host, James Yoder. It's the Michigan football post-spring depth chart. Going to take you through who we think will be starting and who will be backing up and make some projections on what we think this defense can do second year under Jesse Minter and kind of third year in this new 5 defensive back. I'm calling it like the 2-2-2-5 defensive set with 2 interior defensive linemen, 2 guys on the outside edge, 2 linebackers, and then pretty much 5 defensive backs on the field almost the entire time. If you have yet to do so, the Michigan Football Report is the largest audience with the most subscribers on YouTube, and we have a bigger audience this past year than any TV, radio show, or podcast covering Michigan football. Bigger than the local blog boy radios, their podcasts. You guys can see the numbers. They're all publicly transparent, so don't miss out. Join the bad boys. We're the bad boys of Michigan football media. Subscribe to the channel. We are 2 away from 26,500. I think my new stretch goal, Jack, I'm going to be at 30,000 subscribers by the start of the season. So help us spread the message. Share that link to your Michigan football YouTube or Twitter and Facebook audience and your text message threads with your friends. Subscribe to youtube.com/Michigan TV. It's the defensive line. Now, I think some outlets out there and how Michigan does it, they're just so confused. They think that, oh, well, these guys are linebackers because that's what Michigan may put them at, etc. I am sick of trying to play guesswork with the different positions. We know Aiden Hutchinson was not a linebacker in Michigan. We know David Ojabo was not a linebacker in Michigan. We know Mike Morris was not a linebacker in Michigan. It's the edge position. It's very popular in college football. It's very popular in the NFL. You can be hands down or you can be standing up. You're basically an outside rush linebacker. That's what it is. So that's what I'm calling it. I'm calling him defensive lineman from now on. I have got Josiah Stewart. This is different than I would think a lot of people projected. Everyone was saying Derek Moore. Stewart's going to struggle. Stewart came in for spring ball, etc. And I think his speed, his athleticism, his playmaking ability has locked him up. Coming out of spring, still a lot of time. He's got to put in a lot of work in this offseason to keep that role. He will be your starter with Jalen Harrell coming back. Was the starter last year outside of Mike Morris. On the interior, Mason Graham, Chris Jenkins. I think it's the best interior defense lineman in the Big Ten. And I think this 4-pack of Jenkins, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, and Rayshon Trap Money Benny are the deepest interior defensive lineman depth that Michigan has ever had in at least the last 30 years. Braden McGregor will also be in the mix there. Could be potentially a starter here and there, but he'll play a lot at the outside at edge. Chris Jenkins, one of my big standouts from spring practice. He has really evolved as a leader. I think some people are saying he likely could be a captain for this team. Be his second full year starting, and last year 54 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hurries. He is going to be a mauler on the insides, put really a lot of work in the weight room, and is emerging as a vocal leader on this defense. I think he's going to have a breakout season. Excited to see what we get from Chris Jenkins. All right, question for you before we dive into the linebackers and jump into dive and jump. I got a drink now. They told me, quit saying dive in, James. It's a tick, but I can't overcome it. Who's the best defensive player in Michigan football history? But you can't say Charles Woodson. That's the key. Cannot say Charles Woodson. That's a good question. Who is the best defensive player in Michigan football history? I'm not going to go back to the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, etc. Just keep it from my perspective. For my answer here, I'm going to say the last 30 years. I'm going to go with Lamar Woodley. Lamar Woodley would be my answer. Maybe Brandon Graham, although he was on some bad teams with Rich Rod, etc. down the stretch. I think an argument maybe could be made for Devin Bush. Let me know who you guys think best defensive player in Michigan football history, not named Charles Woodson. More on our post-spring defensive depth chart is coming up. I'm going to talk about the linebackers and the secondary, but one last thought on the defensive line. I do think that the talent and the depth on this defensive line is better than a lot of college football fans and maybe even a lot of Michigan football fans think. And I could think it could be an all-timer when all is said and done. Michigan's got Mike Elston. I think he was a big step up from Sean Nua from a coaching perspective. And the emergence of Josiah Stewart and, of course, the Derek Moore coming to second year. Some players that we didn't expect to be on this team or make an impact, most notably Stewart, are going to make this defensive line an all-timer, potentially lost some talent, lost Mike Morris, lost Muzzy Smith, but I'd like to see what we have coming back. I think Michigan's defensive line, backups, starters could be the deepest that this program has ever seen. Want to tell you about our sponsor, Fume. We love Fume here at the Michigan Football Report. Are you tired of struggling with bad habits? Cold turkey, that might be good for sandwiches, but there is a better way to break free of those pesky habits that doesn't have to involve weird voodoo or bizarre tactics. Introducing our sponsor, Fume. I've been using Fume for a long time. It's an innovative and award-winning device that helps you kick bad habits to the curb by focusing on the good parts. Scan the QR code on screen to learn more. Fume is all about embracing the natural. It's not electronic, and instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Best of all, it's free of harmful chemicals, and it's packed with delicious, all-natural flavors. Best of all, it's free of harmful chemicals. I said that. The adjustable airflow dial and movable parts and magnets make it perfect for fidgeting, which can help alleviate stress and anxiety while you break your habit. I wasn't sure what to expect from Fume when I first got it, but I love it. That breath that it kind of fills your lungs with, the taste that it does, it is amazing. Breaking a bad habit can be tough, but with Fume, it's easy, enjoyable, and even fun. With over 100,000 customers and countless success stories, there's no reason that you can't be next. Start your journey towards a healthier lifestyle with the Journey Pack, the one I've got from Fume. Visit tryfume.com/chatsports. Use code chatsports for 10% off when you purchase the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com/chatsports. Don't forget to use promo code chatsports for 10% off your order. The link is down in the comments and the description. And if you're watching live, it is in the live chat. Tryfume.com/chatsports. Make sure you use the promo code chatsports. Head over to the linebacker depth chart. Now, this is an interesting one because a starter as a true freshman, starter of 7 games, Ernest Hausman, decided to leave Nebraska to go to Michigan. All right, maybe you can't blame him. They switched coaching staffs, etc. But he may be in his second year coming into a situation where he's a backup. I think he's going to get on the field a lot, but that's quite the leap to take for somebody to not have a guaranteed starting role when you're already starting at a school like Nebraska. Michigan's returning both the starting linebackers from last year. Junior Colson going in his 3rd year. Mike Barrett coming back for his 5th year at the Mike Wilt linebacker, the Will linebacker. Behind them, Ernest Hausman, Nikhai Hill-Green are your second teamers, both starter-level players. So again, just like on the defensive line, I think Michigan's really strong 2 deep here. Kalel Mullings, maybe, he's been kind of all over the place. And then Jimmy Rolder, the true freshman last year, got a lot of playing time down the stretch. I think Michigan's going to play a lot of players on both, linebacker positions. You could even see some situations where you got 3 or 4 linebackers on the field. It's another position. You got 2 guys that are starters. You got 2 guys behind them that are starter-level players. The depth on this team, offensively and defensively, is just so absurd. I've said it 20 times by now. But the backups for Michigan on defense, I think, is a top 25 defense. They're second stringers. That's how deep this team is. And that's why I'm saying Houston or bust. Let's take a look at the offense versus the defense, right? It's crazy to think that Michigan, not known for being a scoring team, finished number 6 in the country in scoring offense last year. But the defense only up 16 points, number 7 on scoring in NCAA rankings. They have 292 yards a game last year, number 6 overall. Didn't struggle passing, but the number 20 passing team, number 7 against the rush. Michigan did not force a bunch of turnovers. That's the one area where they really ranked low, number 69 in the country, so right around middle of the pack out of 130 schools. But every other major stat, you'll see they're in the top 20, and 3 of the 4 there in the top 10. Will this 2023 Michigan football defense be better or worse? So give me a better or worse in the comments than the 2022 version that took Michigan to another Big Ten championship and held Ohio State to only 3 points in the second half. Let me know. Michigan 2023 defense, better or worse than last year's team? Heading over to the secondary, let's take a look, and this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody who the starters are. The only question right now is the only non-returning starter, and that is cornerback 2 with DJ Turner and, of course, Gemon Green not returning to the program. Amari Walker, we saw him get abused, by Peyton O'Leary in the spring game, and so that kind of, tempered the expectations on him a little bit. Jade McBurrows, Micah Pollard will be there in the 2 deep at corner, and I think they're going to give those guys the opportunity in the fall and into the first few games of the year to steal that second cornerback 2 role from Walker. But I believe right now he is slated to still be the number top guy for CB2. Makari Page, Rod Moore, and Mike Sainer still starters. RJ Moden was a starter last year. Beginning of the year, lost his job down the stretch to Page. Then Quentin Johnson was in the game against TCU. Where'd he come from? We haven't heard of him in 3 years. Keon Sabb hasn't done much in his season at Michigan. Mike Apollo, Jaden McBurrow, as we told you about. True freshman Jair Hill, 4-star. And then Cody Jones and Zeke Berry will compete as the backup to be the starter in 2024 at that nickel position. But the focus this season is going to be on Will Johnson. I think he's the best defensive player maybe in college football this year as a sophomore. I think he potentially can be a 2-time All-American if he leaves after the 2024 season. And if he can get more interceptions, he had 2 against Purdue in the Big Ten championship game. If he can get teams to throw at him, right? Maybe Michigan gives him a shot at punt returner, although I don't know if I'd recommend it because you can get injured at punt returner more than cornerback. But if he can get his name out there, I think he's got Charles Woodson level talent. I think he is that kind of player. He is, without question, the most talented cornerback that Michigan's had since Woodson 95 through 97. And given that he's the number 1 corner and such a star, if you guys remember, Pro Football Focus put out their draft, the 2023 NFL draft, if all players are eligible, they had him as a top 10 pick after his true freshman year. So I think people maybe aren't ready for the type of play from around college football who didn't watch every Michigan game last year, didn't watch the last 4 or 5 games down the stretch. I mean, he shut down Marvin Harrison. He did great against Purdue with 2 interceptions. I think he got maybe wants a player or 2 back against TCU, but Will Johnson, expect him, in my opinion, to be a first-team All-American the next 2 years. Thorpe Award winner, Heisman Trophy finalist. I think all those things are on the table going down the stretch for Will Johnson. Rounding out our depth chart, it is special teams. You got a couple new names here, right? Tommy Doman, not a name that anyone really has any idea what they're getting from him. Has been a backup, but he's going to be their starter coming out of spring and likely into the season unless Michigan decides they need a transfer portal guy at both kicker and punter. I feel if they didn't think that he was the guy, they would have already gone for somebody. So if they do early May, then maybe I will be proven wrong. Roman Wilson to be your primary kick returner. A.J. Henning behind him. He'll be on the field, but not necessarily always getting him unless they're little short kicks. And then A.J. Henning will return for his 3rd year for the most part as Michigan's leading punt returner. Last question for this. I guess we have 2 questions left, but it always makes me laugh when I toss it on screen, lose my train of thoughts. Was Ryan Day born on third base? Yes or no? Just type yes, right? Give me a Y down in the comments. Ryan Day hasn't beat Ohio State or hasn't beat Michigan in the last 3 seasons. Only got his win in his first year and is going up against maybe a hot seat, right? He's 30, whatever. He's lost, 5-6 games in 4 years at Ohio State, 6 games, and could he be in the hot seat with a 3rd straight loss to Michigan? He's got to go up to Ann Arbor on November 25th. Type yes for Ryan Day being born on third base. Make the Ohio State fans hate us. Back to the defensive line. Let's kind of recap, take you through the depth chart one more time. Those are my starters: Josiah Stewart, Chris Jenkins, Mason Graham, and Jalen Harrell. Backups: Derek Moore. No problem, Jack. Derek Moore, Rayshawn Bainey, and Kenneth Grant and Braden McGregor. Here in the linebackers: Junior Colson, Mike Barrett, your starters again for the 2nd straight year. Ernest Hausman, the transfer from Nebraska. Jimmy Rolder, the 2nd-year player who got in the field last year. Khalil Mullings. Could be running back, could be linebacker. We'll see. Nikhil Hill-Green was a starter at the beginning of the season last year, was injured, didn't play the entire season, so we're going to get him as a backup, but he could be a starter-level player as a number 2 linebacker. Over to the secondary, the only question here is that second cornerback position that I've got Amarian Walker. Was the talk of spring practice for a lot of it. Very agile, very athletic, but did get exposed a little bit. It's got people concerned a little bit coming out of the spring game when Peyton O'Leary, like the 7th best wide receiver in the team, was just taking advantage and just catching passes all over the place on Amarian Walker. Some backups to talk about. R.J. Moten will be back. Was a starting safety last year, but now is reserve on the other side. Jaden McBurrows and Micah Pollard will challenge Amarian Walker for that second cornerback role. Special teams wrapping up the show. Tommy Doman, the starting kicker, starting punter. We'll trust Michigan's judgment. Trust Jim Harbaugh, the best special teams coach in the game. Roman Wilson, your primary kick returner, and A.J. Henning will be your punt returner. Grade my defensive and special teams depth chart. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know how you guys think I did compared to what your thoughts are heading out of the 2022 season into this 2023 offseason. We're in middle of April now. NFL draft's right around the corner, and then what's going to happen? We got 3.5 months just to speculate until Michigan's on the field in August for fall camp. We will have more Michigan football news and rumors all spring into the summer, so make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Been lovely meeting with you today here in this defensive depth chart. Until I see you next time, go Blue. All right, that segment will go up next week on the show, so appreciate everyone watching live to take in what you thought about our defensive depth chart. ABCDRF, right? What are you guys' thoughts on the depth chart? Do you think I did good? Do you think I missed anybody? Do you think I differ from other depth charts you've seen elsewhere? I try not to really rely on what other people think. I go on my own judgment and what I've told that's happening at practice and put our best foot forward when it comes to depth charts. So we have wrapped up the show here, Jack. We've gone 2 hours and 15 minutes. Where are you watching from? Shout out your city. Let me get some shout outs here on the shows. We've got 80 people watching. Nothing going on here. Not a huge audience. It's the college football offseason. And I don't even know if we'd done a show today, Jack, if we had not had the $1,500 Super Chat Palooza 2 weeks ago. We owed all of those wheel spins. So make sure we don't leave today's show without any debt. We got all the wheel spins in, right? So shot clock will come up in a second, but give me a few shout-outs. I'll give people shout-outs. Jamie Broussard, 3 hours from here, so we're in downtown Dallas. He is in OKC. B+ on my depth chart from Libra Trav. So I'll give shout-outs for the next 30 seconds or so. Columbus, Ohio, from Bill Graves. Thank you so much to Bill for watching probably the entire show, right? And Bill Graves is a Super Chat hard hat guy. You on the hard hat there, Bill, with a $10 on April 14th. So really appreciate you. Shout out your city. Shy Trout from my man Mers, Stephen Mers. Thank you for watching. Gotta have a beer. We got to, I don't know if I have any Chicago trips planned soon, but maybe Ohio, maybe Michigan. We'll see if we can make it happen. Let's go to the shot clock, Jack. Shot clock. 2 minutes, we're ending the live stream. What we'll do here is if we get any super chats, we will extend the show for another few minutes. For if we get $10, we can extend the show for 5 more minutes or so. If we got like $100, maybe we do another 10 or so. But any super chats come in the next 1 minute and 45 seconds, we will keep things rolling for a little bit longer. But if not, we got to end the show and we got to get on to other parts of the day. Muncie, Pennsylvania, from Quinn Olenich is getting a shout out from me here in the Michigan Football Report. As we're waiting for this clock to come down, do want to tell everybody, I'm excited about this season. I think that this is a deep team, and I fear that we might spend the next 4 months overhyping them. I don't want that to happen, but they're so deep, right? They're so talented. I do think that what they're maybe missing is, I don't know, game-breaking wide receivers. Is that what Alabama or Clemson or Georgia or USC could have that gives them the edge over Michigan in a playoff or national title game? That could be the thing. That could be the one thing missing. So when the transfer portal opens up on May 1st, you'll know how confident Michigan is in this wide receiver group by whether or not they go heavy after a wide receiver, to get a transfer from another school. Coming up on May 1st. May 1st through 15th is the next transfer portal window. That's one area. Cornerback 2, they've got enough bodies, and I trust the development there with Coach Steve Klingscale that he's done. Got G-Mon Green to look like an all-league player. He went out for a few games. Will Johnson steps up and was a super talented freshman towards the end of the year. So I don't want to overhype up this team, but I am concerned that we might. But we've got a lot of time between now and the season getting started. And the only thing we're going to do now, outside of any concrete news, and we'll talk more about recruiting as we get into the summer and there's all the visits that happen, but we might overhype this team a little bit. So let's not do it as much, but you guys know why that me, you, and a ton of other people around Michigan football are super excited about the 2023 season. No super chats coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unless we get one right now, which we did not. So that will wrap the show today. Thanks so much for spending us 120 and 20, so 140 minutes we were live. Thanks so much to Young Harbaugh, a.k.a. producer Jack Lauderay, behind the scenes for helping us out. And thanks so much to everyone who hit up the super chat. Shane Johnson, Bill Graves, Mike K, Blue Wolverine, Matt Shook, K-Money 2KGG, Jeremy Clore, Michael Saunders, and my man Stephen Mers coming in with the super chats. Had a couple other, maybe $1 or $2 here or there, but those are all the ones who got on the hard hat. Before we leave today's show, we finished with 96 likes. Can you give the show a like to make sure that YouTube prioritizes this video in the feeds of other Michigan football fans who couldn't join us live? Because hell, we're only three likes away from 100. Can we just get to 100? Can we get to 100? Can we get to 100? 100 before we go? Let's see. All right, there's 98, 99. So can we get one more like on the video? If you're watching still with us, 57 people watching on the stretch, give the video a like. It is the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. For producer Jack, I am your host, James Yoder. We will see you guys with more content. We'll put all these segments out on the channel over the next 4 or 5 days. And then next week, we'll be rolling again with more Michigan football news, rumors, and the latest on recruiting. Till then, go Blue.